Stranger. We meet once again on this graveyard shift. Welcome on in to Blind Dad Does. My name is Ira. You are here with the insanity, the craziness, the hopefully a decent stream tonight. I don't know. We shall see. My chat bot was having a bit of issues, so I'm not sure if you guys were seeing all the messages or not. That's why I was kind of freaking out there for a moment, but it seems like everything is okay, hopefully. But we are once again live on the graveyard shift, and I hope that you guys are having a great time zone, whatever it is that you're into or doing at this moment in time. Hopefully it's treating you well. And if not, well, maybe being here will help out a little bit. I don't know. We shall see. We shall see. Tonight we're going to try to do some more painting. We did a painting last night, and somebody pointed out, I'm going to load it up here real quick. Somebody pointed out something with it that disturbed me, and yet kind of, yeah, it's not too surprising at the same time. I'll tell you once the thing has loaded here. But how's everybody doing tonight? Do tell all the things. I'd love to know. Fox and Bull are here. I think they're tabbed out here and there. They're floating around to other streamers as well because they support everybody, and it's awesome of them to do. And hopefully other people will come on in too. We're going to listen to some stories tonight, as we have been so wont to do. And yeah, I've been having a good time with it. You know, it's I've not been feeling all that great for a week now. I've been having a few issues that are a little disturbing. My sugar levels are a little bit out of control. I'm not too happy about it, but at the same time, I'm trying not to stress about it, because unfortunately for me, stress does nothing but increase the sugar levels for me. So the more I stress, the more the sugar levels go up, the more I freak out because my sugar levels are going up, and therefore it causes me more stress. And yeah, it's a vicious circle. It really is. But I've been having some issues with like my throat and a bit of a sore spot in my mouth that's been kind of disturbing me when I try to talk. It causes a bit of pain. So I've been pretty happy with doing the stories because I don't have to expend as much energy trying to talk and be entertaining and all that kind of stuff. It's been a help. Okay, so the file has loaded here finally. I'm sorry it takes so long. It's just the file is big. Somebody pointed out that my figure looks like a vagina, and that wasn't my intent. That was not my intent at all. But it fits, I guess. It's there. Yeah. So if you guys want to think of it along those lines, I guess that's fine and dandy. So yeah, it's a thing. It's a thing. Art is subjective, right? Art is very subjective. So yeah, that's what I worked on last night. I'm going to do a different painting tonight. We're going to see if anything can come about. Hopefully it will. Either way, I have a good time at least giving the attempt and trying to have some fun with you guys. So tonight we have stories from Dark Fantasy, and Dark Fantasy was one of the original paranormal-ish mystery shows that aired in the early 40s. They didn't do a crap ton of episodes of it, but all of the episodes that they did were really good, and a lot of them are pretty well preserved, and so I thought that playing some of them tonight would be a fun experience. I'm sure that most of my listeners have not heard anything from this particular series. It's kind of hard to find, but it's still a fun one to do. So yeah, we'll get started with one of the stories and we'll kind of run from there with it. This one in particular that we're going to start off with is Death is a Savage Deity. And yeah, I'd have to agree with that. So anyways, let's get started. Hope you guys enjoy.
Dark Fantasy. Death is a savage deity.
Is that you, Dolores?
Yes, Warner. Don't stop playing. I heard the music coming from the conservatory, so I stopped by. What are you playing?
Just a simple melody of my own.
So weird. I thought possibly you were playing a dirge.
A dirge?
Yes. Or Andrews.
I fear neither dirge nor prayers nor candles burned on the altar will do Andrews any good.
Oh, Warner, what made him do it? He was always so happy, so full of the love of life. Why did he do such a thing?
He was blind. He couldn't stand the thought of being without the use of his eyes, so...
Yes, but if only...
I cautioned him. Over and over again, I warned him to take care of his eyes. But he wouldn't listen to me. Now he's dead.
Poor Andrews.
I suppose you and James will postpone your marriage a while, Dolores?
Yes, I think it's best, don't you? It wouldn't be quite decent to have a funeral today and a wedding day after tomorrow, would it?
I wouldn't permit it in my home. And this is still my house, you remember. Oh, now, who's that? Yes, come in. All right, Alma, what is it?
Beg your pardon, Miss Jarmus.
All right, out with it. Don't stand there stammering.
Yes, Miss Jarmus. It's for Miss Dolores. Mr. Harvey's here.
Oh, Jim said he'd drop by.
Shall I show him in here, Miss Dolores?
Yes, please do.
Yes, ma'am.
By the way, Alma,
Yes, ma'am?
how does your head feel today?
Not so good, ma'am. It ached me all night long. I didn't get much sleep to speak of.
Perhaps you should go to a doctor, Alma.
I did, Miss Dolores. Yesterday. He said there was nothing wrong with me, but I know better. My head hurts something fierce all the time.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, ma'am. I'll show Mr. Harvey right in.
Hello.
Hello, Jim.
Oh, Dolores, my dear, you look tired. How are you, Miss Jonas?
Very well, thank you.
Oh, Jim, I'm glad you stopped by. We've rather had the doldrums around here the past day or so.
Yes, I know. I thought I'd stop by now and be here for the funeral this afternoon.
Poor Andrews. You loved him too, didn't you, Jim?
Yes, dear. I guess I did. I've known Andrews almost as long as you have.
Well, all I can say is I warned him again and again. If he'd only listened to
Auntie,
me...
please. Jim, let's go outside and get some air. I've been in the house all day.
All right, dear.
You'd both better stay around close. I may need you.
All right, Warner. We'll probably be in the garden.
Very well. Oh, Jim,
Yes?
remember about the lily pond.
Oh, yes, of course I will.
It's dangerous, you know. Be careful of it, Jim. Don't get too near to its edge.
Yes, I'll remember. Come, dear.
Jim,
Yes, dear?
what did she mean about the lily pond?
Oh, don't you remember that the railing around the pond was taken down for repairs? Hasn't been replaced yet.
Yes, I know, but it's been down for almost a month. Here, let's walk on the grass, shall we? Why does she remind you about it now?
Well, she probably doesn't want us to fall into it and soil our pretty clothes.
But she seems so insistent. She said it's dangerous for you to be careful of it. For you not to go too near its edge. You, Jim, not me.
Oh, she meant both of us, silly. She just addressed me because she wants me to take care of you.
Does she?
Why, of course she does. What do you mean?
Jim, I've had the impression for a long time now that she doesn't want us to be married.
Oh, nonsense. She's delighted.
No, she's not delighted.
But Dolores.
I've wanted to tell you this for a long time. But I've hesitated to say anything. I thought I might have been mistaken. Now I know it's true. She hates you, Jim.
Juana hates me? Why, of all the silly things I've ever heard of, Juana and I are great friends.
Oh, darling, you're wrong. Juana has no love for you. I don't know why, but she'll be perfectly delighted if you and I never marry.
Dolores.
Jim, I want to be married just as soon as we possibly can. Then I want to go away from here.
Away? Where, dear?
I don't care where. Just so it's someplace else, anywhere but here.
But, darling, I thought you loved this place.
Love it. I despise it.
Dolores.
I do, Jim. Oh, darling, I'm so upset. There's something terrible going on around here. I don't know what it is. But it was responsible for Andrew's death.
Darling, how can you say that?
Because I know.
You know what?
There was nothing wrong with Andrew's eyes.
What?
No. Nothing at all wrong with them.
But he went blind. The autopsy proved it. Well, that's why...
I know. He died blind, yes. But I went with him to an optometrist about a week ago. Andrews had perfect vision in both eyes and no sign of defect or weakness.
But, Dolores, that's not possible.
I know, but it happened.
But how? How, dear?
I can't answer that. Oh, Jim, look out.
Good Lord.
Oh, dearest, the lily pool. You almost walked right into it.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was over farther to the east end of the garden.
I I don't know why we should be so frightened of it. It's quite shallow. Even if one of us did accidentally fall in, we'd only get a bit wet.
Is that all that would happen?
Jim, what do you mean?
I wonder. Come on, dear. We best be getting back to the house. I want to brush up a bit before the crowd begins to drift in.
Dolores, will you play the organ a while? I'd like some music.
Do you mind if I don't, Auntie? I'm rather tired.
Look here, Dolores. How about a swim down on the beach? The moon's up. It's quite warm tonight.
Jim, I think I'd like that.
Certainly, if you're too tired to play the organ, you're too tired to swim.
Oh, it'll be good for her, Miss Jonas. She needs some fresh air and exercise.
Yes, Auntie. You don't mind so much, do you?
No, I suppose not.
Good. Is there a suit in the men's quarters of the bathhouse I can use?
Yes, you'll find several there, James. Take your choice.
Oh, fine. Come along, Dolores.
No, let's not go that way, Jim. Let's take the back door and cut through the garden to the bathhouse.
All right, dear.
We won't be long, Auntie. Just a plunge and we'll be right back.
Very well. Oh, James,
Yes, Miss Jonas?
remember about the lily pond.
Oh, yes. Oh, all right.
It's still quite dangerous, you know. Don't get too close to its edge. You may fall into it.
Yes, all right. We'll be careful, Miss Jonas. We can see it all right in the moonlight.
Come on, Jim. There. You see? She keeps reminding you about the lily pond.
Oh, well, that just proves she doesn't want anything to happen to me. I told you she doesn't dislike me.
Jim, don't you think for a moment she doesn't. She dislikes you terribly. I think she even dislikes me.
But why? Good heavens, Dolores. She took you in when you were a mere infant, less than 3 years old. She's kept you. Clothes, a fine home, everything.
Yes, I know it. Still, she hates me.
Dolores, I don't understand. If you've known this all along, why didn't you say something to me about it?
Because it's just recently she's changed. I don't know why she's changed, but she has.
Well, dear, suppose we forget everything for a while. This has been a trying day for all of us. Come on. I'll race you down to the bathhouse.
Well, Jim must not be dressed yet. It's odd. She had plenty of time. Jim? Jim, do you hear me? Are you in the bathhouse, Jim? Jim? What's that over there? Surely it got... Oh, no. Jim? Jim? The lily pond. His head beneath the water. The lily stems around his throat. Oh, Jim. Jim, my darling, what happened to you, Jim?
Please, try not to think about it. It's all over now, and there's nothing to be helped by thinking about it.
How did it ever happen to him?
Dolores, you heard the coroner's verdict. Jim must have wandered over to the lily pond while waiting for you to finish dressing. He apparently stumbled and fell, striking his head on a rock, becoming unconscious. He fell with his head under water, and it strangled him.
Oh, it was so sudden. If I'd only been a little quicker dressing, I might have saved him.
Don't think of that, dear. We can't help what's happened. Lie still, dear. I'll answer it. Hello? Yes, Mr. Evans? Yes? Very well. I'll come to your office right away. Yes, within the hour. Very well. Goodbye. Oh, Dolores, I'm sorry, but I'll have to leave you a while. That was my lawyer. And there's some very important papers I must attend to immediately.
I'll be all right, Auntie.
I'll send Almain to take care of you. But I'm afraid she won't be of much help. She's been complaining of headache constantly, night and day.
Did you call me, Miss Dolores?
Yes, several times. You were so long answering.
I'm sorry, Miss Dolores. I was downstairs. Can I do something for you, ma'am?
Yes, Alma. I want the key to this room.
That room, Miss Dolores?
Yes, and I want it right away. My aunt has kept this room locked for 18 years. She's always told me she wants no one in there because her father died in that room.
Yes, ma'am. That's it. Nothing else.
I'm not so sure. I intend to go inside that room now. Get me the key.
Oh, Miss Dolores, I beg you, ma'am. Don't go into that room. Whatever you do, ma'am, in the name of heaven, don't go into that room.
Why not? Tell me, Alma. What's in there?
It's frightful, ma'am. Please listen to me. My head's a splitting. I'm a sick woman. I'm almost a dead woman. But with the life that's left in me, I plead with you not to enter that room.
Alma, stop this nonsense.
It's not nonsense, miss. There's worse than the devil in there.
Alma, do you have the key? Answer me. Do you have the key to that room?
Yes, ma'am. That I have. I stole it from Miss Jarnes a month ago.
Then let me have it. Give it to me. At once.
I'll open the door. There you are, ma'am. I'll turn on the light.
Why? Well, this room is empty. Nothing here but an old table covered with a huge black cloth.
That's all, miss. Come now. Let's shut off the light and lock the door.
No. Wait a minute. What's on that table?
Please, Miss Dolores, don't go near that table.
I want to see.
I ask you not to, Miss Dolores.
Dolls. 4 little dolls. Each about 12 inches tall, lying here on the table.
Please come away, Miss Dolores.
Good heavens. This doll looks exactly like Andrew's. Look. Lying there on his back, with a common pin stuck squarely in the middle of each eye.
He went blind, Miss Dolores.
Good heavens. An exact image of Jim Harvey, lying with his head submerged in a miniature lily pond.
Mr. Harvey died in a lily pond, in the garden.
This doll. Alma. It's an image of you, with a pin stuck into its head.
Oh, Miss Dolores, ma'am, my head's killing me with its aching.
Alma. This 4th doll.
It's you, Miss Dolores.
With another pin stuck into the doll's body so it pierces the heart.
Don't you feel pains in your heart, Miss Dolores?
Alma, what in the world does all this mean?
It's witchcraft.
Witchcraft?
Black magic.
But I don't understand.
It's Miss Jarnes, your aunt. First, she convinced Andrews he was going blind. Then she convinced Mr. Harvey he'd die in the lily pond. And now she's trying to kill me with a headache. And you with a heart attack.
But how? How?
They use it where she came from, miss. Where she came from years ago.
Where was that?
Haiti.
Haiti?
Yes. When you've got an enemy in Haiti, you want to get rid of him. You make a doll that looks like him. You put hair from his head on the doll's head. Cloth from his clothes for the doll's clothes. Then you stick a pin in the part of the enemy you want to make hurt. And it works.
Alma.
It does, Miss Dolores. Look at Andrews. Blind because of the hex. Look at Mr. Harvey. Dead in the lily pond. Look at me. Me with my terrible headache. And the pin sticking in the head of that doll.
We'll pull out the pin.
Oh, no, don't. If you do that, I'm sure to die. Right away.
Alma, tell me how you know all this.
I've been listening, Miss Dolores. And watching. For years. I've been watching. And listening. And... Oh, Miss Dolores.
Alma. Alma, what's wrong? Alma, speak to me. Are you all right? Alma. She's dead.
Miss Dolores, you feeling better?
Yes, much. How did I get here in my bed, Doctor?
Your aunt found you here, unconscious.
Oh, then I did manage to get here before I fainted. Have you found Alma?
Yes, poor girl. Dead. Brain hemorrhage.
Brain hemorrhage?
Yes.
Where did you find her, Doctor?
In her room. She must have died in her sleep.
No. No, she didn't die in her bed. My aunt must have placed her there.
Dolores, you know the truth.
Do you, Dr. Seabrook?
I've known it for years. I've been watching Warner, your aunt, for years. When Andrews died, I became suspicious. When your fiancé perished in the lily pond, I was convinced that Warner was using her ancient jungle powers.
Oh, what?
Let me tell you a story. She was married to a wealthy plantation owner in Haiti about 18 years ago. One day, she decided to rid herself of him, so she fed him poison. When he realized what she had done to him, he went off into the jungle to die. But first, he made a will, leaving all his money and property to the baby daughter of his closest friend, a man who had died of jungle fever and whose baby had been taken to America by friends. Warner's husband left his fortune to that baby girl. That girl, my dear, was you.
Oh.
Before the poisoned man died, he sought out a jungle witch doctor and had him make a charm. It was a doll-like image of the woman who had poisoned him. He took a lock of her hair from where he'd always carried it in a gold locket, and the hair became the doll's hair. Then he took a long needle, dipped it in the most potent poison, and plunged that needle again and again into the body of the doll image. The poison was one that brings about instant and complete paralysis of the human muscles.
Paralysis?
Yes. It's a poison well known in Haiti.
He cast a spell upon her, just as she's been casting spells on us.
Precisely.
But her spells were effective. His wasn't.
No spell is effective unless the victim is made aware of its existence. Just a few moments ago, I told your aunt the same story I've told you.
You mean you told her about the spell that was cast upon her years ago?
In an offhand manner. I passed it on to her. It's just a story I'd heard from a friend of mine in Haiti. I pretended I didn't know that she was involved.
Where is she now?
You feel like getting up?
Yes, I'm all right.
This door leads to your aunt's room, doesn't it?
Yes, it's not locked. Here? Is she in here?
Yes, she's in there.
Oh, she's ill. Aunt Juana, Juana. Doctor, look at her.
The spell she cast upon you is broken now. Your aunt is dead.
But look at her.
Yes. She died instantly of complete paralysis.
Death is a savage deity.
Welcome everyone to the Graveyard Shift. I hope that you guys are having a great time zone wherever it may be. Nightmares Daycare, thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. I'm glad to have you here. Blue, I don't know if you can still hear me, but I'm glad to have you here for the few moments that you were. I appreciate it. Blighted Angel, as always, causing chaos over here in my streams. Welcome on in. I hope you guys are enjoying the stories. I hope you guys are enjoying the painting as it's coming along. I'm starting to get a feel for what this painting wants to do, and I'm pretty happy with it so far. We'll see what happens as the time goes on. Let's get into another story here.
Dead hands reaching.
Alan. Alan Blaine.
Huh? Oh, I thought I heard someone.
Listen to me, Alan.
Someone did speak.
I spoke to you, Alan.
Who's that?
Don't be alarmed.
There's no one here. No one in this office but myself.
I am here.
Am I losing my mind? No, there's no one.
Listen to me, Alan.
I hear you, but where are you?
I am here, but you can't see me.
Who are you?
Listen to me, Alan.
Yes?
How much money are you making?
Not much.
How much?
$25 a week.
You're worth more.
I know I am.
Then why haven't you done something about it?
Well, there are hundreds of men who could do my work. I can't afford to lose my job.
You won't lose your job, but you will get a better one.
What do you mean?
Go talk to your employer today, Alan. Today, you hear?
Yes.
There's a position open.
Assistant manager?
Exactly.
That's too big a position for me.
You're capable of handling it. Go in. Ask for it.
Ask for job of assistant manager?
Yes. You'll never get it unless you ask for it.
Look here, who are you? Where are you?
You cannot see me, Alan, because I am not of your world.
Are you some devil? Some evil spirit?
I assure you, I am not.
Then why don't you show yourself to me?
I am not permitted to do that. Be thankful that I am able to advise you.
Why do you advise me?
Because there is much I can do for you.
I don't understand. Your voice. Out of nowhere.
That must not worry you, Alan. Do as I say. Go now. Ask for assistant managership. Go, Alan. Ask for it now.
Wait.
Don't wait, Alan.
Wait, I want to talk to you some more.
Don't wait until it's too late. I warn you.
Come back. Come back.
Look here. What's all the commotion about?
Sit down, Mrs. Evans.
What?
I said sit down, ma'am. Here, I have something to talk to you about.
I want to know what the shouting out here was about.
Well, never mind that, Mrs. Evans. I have something much more important to discuss with you.
And just what's that, Mr. Blaine?
It's about the assistant managership.
Well,
Well, you see, I was just thinking.
go on.
No, I was just thinking that perhaps
Go ahead. Go ahead, Alan. Tell her you want the job.
Did you hear something, Mrs. Evans?
I'm waiting to hear who you have in mind for the job that's open.
I'll take that job, Mrs. Evans.
What? What did you say?
I said I'll take that job.
Why, I hadn't thought of that. You might handle the job all right. Yes. Yes, you might. Come on in the office, Blaine. Let's talk this thing over.
Assistant manager's office? Oh, Judith, darling. How are you? Hey, you coming down to see my new office? Oh, I thought you said you'd try to make it today. Well, I've had my new job for 2 weeks now, and I... All right, dear. Yes. Goodbye. I can't understand Judith lately. Seems like she's avoiding me.
Don't trust her, Alan.
You again.
Don't trust her, Alan. Don't trust her.
What?
Don't trust her. Don't trust her, Alan. I warn you, she's not to be trusted.
Oh, it's you, Alan.
Hello, darling. May I come in?
Yes, I suppose so.
My, you're beautiful tonight.
Am I?
Oh, that dress looks wonderful on you. I'm glad you're all dressed up. Honey, we're going to celebrate.
Alan.
I've just been promoted, darling. Now I'm making enough for us to live on. Come on, let's paint the town. And when we find just the right spot, I'm going to ask you to marry me again. Aren't you going to say something, Judith?
I have an engagement tonight, Alan.
Oh, but you can call it off.
No, I'm afraid I can't.
Think what's happened to us. Now I'm making the money you always wanted me to make.
You'll have to go now, Alan.
What?
I've just a few minutes to finish with my makeup. You'll have to go now.
But Judith...
Please, Alan.
Now, wait a minute.
Alan, really? I've asked you to go. I haven't much time.
Oh. So you haven't much time. Well, let me tell you something, Judith West.
No, Alan.
Yes, Alan? Let you tell me what?
Don't say it, Alan. Don't.
Well, Alan?
Don't say it, Alan. I warn you. There'll be a quarrel. You'll kill her this time if you quarrel.
I'm waiting, Alan.
Never mind. Just forget it. Good evening, my dear.
Alan, perhaps I should have told you last night. I didn't, so I'm writing to you now. You have made quite a fool of yourself over me for some time now. I've only permitted you to believe I loved you because I've always felt sorry for you. Now you're successful, and so I write you the truth. I'm being married tomorrow to a man from South America. I've never loved you. I know that I never can. And so I'm writing to tell you.
Miss Adams, will you please call me at 11:30? I have a 12 o'clock luncheon date. A letter from Judith. It's probably an apology for last night. I wonder what she said. Alan, perhaps I should have told you. Writing to you now. Quite a fool of yourself. Always felt sorry for you. Being married tomorrow, I have never loved you. Never loved me. Oh, she can't mean that. Yes, she wrote it. Yes, she wrote it. Oh, so she's been playing ball with me all these years. Felt sorry for me, did she? Sorry. Well, I'll make her sorry. I'll show her. I'll kill her.
No, Alan.
Yes, I'll kill her.
Don't go to her, Alan.
I'll show her. I'll show her she can't toss me off like an old glove.
Put that gun back, Alan.
No.
Put it back in the drawer, I say.
No, no.
I warn you, you'll be sorry if you don't put the gun away and calm yourself.
I won't, and you can't stop me.
No, I can't stop you.
Nothing can stop me. Nobody. Not now. Oh, so she feels sorry for me. Well, I wonder if she'll feel sorry for herself with a bullet in her cheating heart.
All right, darling. I'll meet you at 8. Yes, I've written a note to Alan. I've broken things off completely. All right, dearie. Goodbye. Yes? Who's there? Who's there? Who is it? Alan. What do you want? Alan. Oh, no, Alan!
Alan. Alan, listen to me. Go sober yourself up, Alan.
Oh, go away.
You've lost your job. Spent all your money. This is no way out.
Leave me alone.
I want to help you.
Help me. Why didn't you leave me alone to begin with?
I warned you not to go to her apartment. You're a murderer now, Alan. You're wanted by the police.
Oh, go away. Go away.
You should have listened to me. I was trying to guide you.
Leave me alone. Oh, leave me alone.
I know what you're thinking. You're tired. The spirits aren't enough for you now. You want something else.
Yes.
Don't do it, Alan. Stay away from it.
No. I'm not listening to you anymore. I'm not listening. Do you hear me? Go away. I'm not listening to a thing you say.
Please to come in.
A friend of mine sent me. Jake Mullins.
Oh, Honorable Mr. Mullins. So, young seafool, glad to help any friend. Honorable Mr. Mullins.
He said I could forget my troubles here.
Trouble? You have trouble, please?
Plenty.
You want maybe sleep?
Anything. Anything to stop this awful burning in my mind.
You smoke, maybe? Me fix pill. You sleep.
Yes, sleep.
You lie here, please. Stretch out. Make comfortable.
Yes.
Here. You smoke this. Take pipe. You sleep.
Yes.
So, you feel better by and by. No. Please to lie down. You smoke. Pretty soon, sleep.
Don't, Alan. I beg you. Don't smoke that.
Go away.
Please, not to shout.
Tell him to go away.
There is no one.
Don't do it, Alan.
You hear him?
I hear no one. Now, please, to be quiet. Just smoke. Plenty soon. Sleep.
It's too late now, Alan. I tried to warn you, but it's too late now.
Where am I? So strange. Quiet. Peaceful. What's this? Book. Old. Rotting. Why, a diary. Aaron Blaine. That was my great-grandfather's name. This was his diary. Where am I? Seems like a cave. Yes, it is a cave. My clothes. So neat and so clean. Yesterday, yes, even today, I was almost ragged. I remember, too, I was tired. Worn. Now I feel refreshed. How did I get here in this cave? That light from the fire. I can read the book by the fire. Yes. We are now in the midst of a dreadful civil war. I fear everything I own is lost. I have only managed to save my gold. Gold. I figure its value at more than $80,000. I have buried it today beneath the horse stall at the east end of the barn. It will never be found there. Gold. Buried beneath the horse stall in the barn. But what barn? It's daylight. Perhaps if I get out of this cave... Yes. There's the opening. Yes, it is daylight. And there's the farm over there. It's an old farm. Maybe if I go over there, I'll find what I want. You say this farm did belong to old Aaron Blaine.
That's right, boss man. About the time of the Civil War was, I reckon my pappy done work for him.
Who owns the place now?
I reckon Uncle Sam do now, boss man. I pays the taxes when I can, and they lets me live here. Got myself a horse out there in the barn, yeah. Good old racing horse he is, and that barn about to fall down.
Yeah, I see it is.
Yeah, well, over this way, boss
All
man.
right. Are you sure this barn's been standing since the Civil War?
Sure has, boss man. I has to prop it up here and there once in a while. Won't go to pieces any day now. Yeah, there's old Thunderbolt. Oh, that old Thunderbolt. You was asking about a spade here, mister? Well, there's one right over here.
Yeah. I'll set the lantern down right there. Keep that animal back. I'm going to start digging.
Digging, boss man?
Yes. And if I find what I'm looking for, you and I are going to be rich. There it is.
Lord have mercy, boss man. Something buried there?
Yeah, a metal box. Come on, help me get it out of there.
Okay, boss man.
Did you get a hold of that corner?
I think so. The pool's hard enough. Right. There.
Good work.
Heavy.
Yeah, got a lock on it. You'll fix that. Golly, it's heavy. Ah, there we are.
Lord have mercy, boss man. Look at that gold.
Yeah, gold. $80,000 worth of gold. What's that?
Must be the Pearson boys.
Who?
Pearson boys, boss man.
Who are they?
They've been trying to get this farm, only ain't got enough money to pay the back taxes. Folks around here always said they knowed there was gold buried here someplace. They must have seen you, and now they's trying to scare y'all.
It's a good thing it's night. I was going to come down here this afternoon, but I decided to stay in the cave till dark.
Cave, you say, boss man?
Yeah, over toward the hills.
We better get ourselves over there, boss, if we's going to keep this here gold. Them Pearson boys been looking for it for 10 years. If they catch us with it, they's going to take it away from us. Boss, I reckon I can't stay here much longer.
We've got to stay here.
I was hungry.
And so am I. We can't leave this cave until those murdering thieves out there go away.
Boss, we done been here 2 nights and a day.
They've gone now, Alan.
You again?
Who, boss, me?
It's safe now, Alan.
Boss man, what you looking so funny about? You look like you done heard a spook or something talking.
You can go out now, Alan. They've gone away.
Come along, Sam.
Are we going to leave here, boss man?
Yeah. Help me carry this box.
How come you to change your mind?
I didn't. It was changed for me. Come along. Careful there.
Sure will be good to wrap this old boy around a good thick old steak or maybe a fat old chicken.
Easy now. Careful. Let's scout around behind this tall grass.
All right, boss man. Now, you all watch your step out here. There's lots of snakes over here.
Snakes?
Yes, sir. Big ones, too, boss man, and pies and...
Come on. Over this way. Wait a minute.
Huh?
Look. Over there.
Lordy, boss man, that's an old grave.
Yeah, come on. Good Lord. Look.
Boss man, looky over there.
A bony, fleshless hand. Reaching up out of the grave.
Boss man, how come that a hand over there?
Whoever that was, they buried him alive.
Come on, boss man. I don't feel none too comfortable around here.
Wait a minute. Something scratched into this tombstone. I can't quite make out what it says. Yeah, that's better.
What does it say, boss? I can't read.
It says, Aaron Blaine.
Aaron Blaine.
Died August 16th, 1861.
August 16, 1861.
My great-grandfather buried alive.
Lord of mercy, your grandpappy?
I didn't die then. I was only unconscious from exhaustion. They thought I was dead, so they brought me here.
Where are you?
I brought you here to show you this.
How did I get here?
The opium removed the spirit from your body. I brought it here.
Oh, take me back.
You can never return.
Yes. Take me back. I have the gold now. I'll be rich.
No.
Yes. Take me back. Take me back, I say.
Bossman, look at that there snake.
No.
Run, Bossman. He done bit you, I tell you.
Poison. Been poisoned by that snake. I can't. Help me. Help me. I can't get there.
No, Alan. I warned you. Now, you'll never get back.
Indeed, Bull. Indeed. That is a very good lesson. Welcome to the Graveyard Shift, everyone. Welcome, Molle. It is always good to see you, my child. Fox and Bull, it's always so good to see you guys as well. Nightmare Daycare, I don't know if you're still here or not, but welcome on in. It is so good to have you here. I am having a really good time with this painting so far. It's turning out very interesting. It's going in a direction that I didn't intend it to when I first started, but it kind of fits the theme of the night, I think, as far as the stories are being told. Kind of fits in. Lesson learned. Listen to the voices in your head when they tell you not to commit crimes. It's a pretty good moral. That's a pretty good moral. So, one thing I wanted to mention while I'm here talking and the show is not playing at the moment, bear in mind that, well, number one, I haven't been able to listen to every single one of these shows. I have over 10,000 of them, and there's about 19 weeks worth of content that I have. And in other words, if I was to hit play and let it play through until it got to the last one, it would be 19 weeks later. And that's a lot of content. I do like playing these shows because they, number one, give me something to listen to as I'm painting. Number two, give you something to listen to as I'm painting, besides just sitting here playing music and staring at me on a camera or something. But it also is a really good representation, historically speaking, of not only the fiction that was taking place during that period of time, but the social statuses that was taking place at that time too. And for instance, in that particular story, there were some cues that I caught of, you know, some racial stereotyping that was going on, like, for instance, with the Asian person and that kind of thing. And while hearing that kind of thing might be upsetting, bear in mind, too, that it's not me intending to, you know, advocate for any of that kind of attitudes or stereotyping. But at the same time, it was a historical representation that people did, you know, and we can't shy away from the fact that that kind of stereotyping existed during that period of time, especially in relation to popular culture, which these kind of stories were. So unfortunately, it is going to be a thing where once in a while we are going to encounter that kind of thing. I do ask you to just kind of be patient. Roll your eyes if you must. I do myself, you know. But don't take offense at the fact that it's you know, being played here on my stream, because again, it's not representing what I feel myself. So just wanted to kind of clarify that, and we can run from there with things. So let's see if we can find another story here. And I will continue on with the painting. It looks like some of the other ones that I have from this particular storyline or set of stories is not. They're a bit damaged. Let me get a little bit of a poll from you guys here. I'm not going to actually put a poll up, but let me get a little bit of a poll from you guys. Do you want to hear some more paranormal / horror stories, or more of a sci-fi kind of a lean, or would you like to hear more of like straight up sort of mystery kind of shows for a little while here? Let me see what you guys think and what you would be interested in this evening. If you dare. And the voices in your head tell you to hydrate. Hydrate! But see, that's okay because you're not committing crimes then, Ollie. If you're hydrating, you're not committing a crime. And you don't have time to commit a crime. Can you imagine that? Some Twitch streamer or something decides to commit a crime, and they're streaming and they're watching their chat, and the chat like gives them the hydrate command, so they have to stop and take a drink, and giving the cops enough time to catch them. Well, if you guys don't have any opinion, I'm gonna move on with something else here. Let's see what we can do in the meantime. Yeah, how about this? This will work.
It's double or nothing, so get on the track. Try Campbell's pork and beans, and you'll get double your money back. But they're not the finest beans.
It is prime bean season.
Time and do it today. Double your money back if you don't pay for flavor and zest. The beans that are best are Campbell's pork and beans.
That's right. Double or Nothing will offer every listener double your money back. Here's the offer. Try Campbell's pork and beans. If you don't agree they're the best pork and beans you ever tasted, just write your name and address and the price you paid on the back of the label, mail it to Campbell Soup Company, Camden, New Jersey, and we'll refund double the purchase price. Okay, O'Keefe?
Okay, Crosby. So it's double your money back and nothing to lose. And right now we're heading into the heaviest bean-eating season of the year, from April to July. And we'll help grocers sell more Campbell's pork and beans in their stores with a real double or nothing offer. Double your money back.
Hello, Walter. What's that double talk?
Maxine, Laverne, and Patty Andrews. Girls, I have a problem.
Now you have 4 problems.
Patty, my problem is to tell everybody about the tie-in between Double or Nothing and the big new double your money back offer on Campbell's pork and beans.
Well, I always say when in doubt, sing. How is this? Buy me a bistou pork. Buy me a bistou beans. Buy me a bistou Campbell's pork and beans. Such wonderful pork, such wonderful beans, such wonderful Campbell's pork and beans. Any other problems, Walter?
Well, grocers have been doing a grand job selling Campbell's pork and beans. And we want to tell them the double your money back offer holds good on the big family size can as well as the regular size can.
Well, here's a slogan for 'em. Get wise to the family size, like this. I was sitting eating pork and beans when I met a handsome man of means. Now we think you'll realize why she buys the family size of Campbell's pork and beans.
Patty, I want to give double emphasis to Double or Nothing's double your money back offer.
Well, you wrote a song that tells the whole story. Oh, Campbell's has pork and Campbell's has beans.
You mix them together, you've got pork and beans.
All over the world, both oldsters and teens
are mad about their pork and beans. Now a gal that I knew she was handsome, and she loved pork and beans, if you please. When she heard about Campbell's, she upped and got wed to the man in the flying trapeze.
Now he flips through the air, loops a loop and careens, since his grocer supplied Campbell's good pork and beans. At last they've discovered what ecstasy means, 'cause they've got Campbell's good pork and beans.
Did we mention the double your money back offer?
Well, didn't we? Well, let's do it again.
Let's do it the way you're going to do it every day for our Double or Nothing listeners.
It's double or nothing, so get on the track. Try Campbell's pork and beans, and and you'll get double your money back if they're not the finest beans. So buy 'em and try 'em and do it today. Double your money back if you don't save. For flavor and zest, the beans that are best are Campbell's Pork and Beans. Okay, O'Keefe?
Okay, Andrews Sisters and OK Groceries. When you offer customers double their money back and nothing to lose, how can you lose?
Can you imagine if they did that today? Double your money back? I don't think anybody does that kind of thing these days. Double your money back on something if you're not satisfied. Boy, oh boy. Currently working on setting up the Valheim server. Nice, nice. That works. That works. Well, funnily enough, I found one that I'm going to play. So, we were doing Dark Fantasy. I'm going to move on to doing one from Halls of Fantasy, which is a similar bent. And this one in particular, I thought that might draw a little bit of Bull's attention. It is called Death in the Bayou. So we can see what this one's going to do. Have fun, guys.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Granite Furniture Company, with stores in Sugar House, Murray, and Provo, presents
The Hall of Fantasy. Welcome to the Hall of Fantasy. Welcome to the series of radio dramas dedicated to the supernatural, the unusual, and the unknown. Come with me, my friends. We shall descend to the world of the unknown and forbidden, down to the depths where the veil of time is lifted, and the supernatural reigns as king. Come with me and listen to the tale of Death in the Bayous.
the Granite Furniture Company brings you the Hall of Fantasy. Listen now to original tales of the imagination and some of the classics of the supernatural as we take you down the corridors of the Hall of Fantasy to the mysterious realms of the unknown. These are stories of eerie and fantastic thrills brought to you by your friends at the Granite Furniture Stores. You know, spring is practically here, and the centennial summer is not far away, so now's the time to cheer up your home with something new from the Granite Furniture Company. You'll be amazed at how easily you can improve the beauty and comfort of your home with small items here and there, such as a new floor lamp, a new lounge chair, a table or so, or some other seemingly unimportant item. The Granite Furniture Stores in Sugar House, Murray, and Provo are daily receiving new stocks for spring home redecoration. And now you may choose from these delightful new things at prices well within your budget. Go in tomorrow and see for yourself. And be sure to listen a little later in tonight's program for an important announcement from the Granite Furniture Stores in Sugar House, Murray, and Provo. And now for tonight's story. An original radio drama by Robert Olson entitled Death in the Bayous.
Death strikes quickly along the bayou. Who's to say the deed was murder?
According to this map, we should be nearing that plantation.
Oh, I'll be glad to get there in a chance to freshen up a bit. It's a long drive from New York.
Ah, very true, Mrs. Crane. A long ride and a dull one. That is, as far as the scenery is concerned.
I think it's been lovely.
No, if you say so, said the henpecked groom. But the Adirondacks have this beat a million ways. Look at this swampland. Whatever made you want to spend a honeymoon down here anyway?
Oh, Tom would have been hurt if we'd refused his invitation.
He'd have been hurt. Well, whose honeymoon is this anyway?
Oh, now, Reggie, it's really charming. And you'll like Tommy.
You've been down here quite a lot?
I spent 2 summers with the Bonds, and they're really wonderful friends. And Tom is...
Thomas Bond, the fifth?
Yes, he's a dear. He wanted me to marry him once.
Oh, fine. We spend our honeymoon with one of your old suitors. We'll probably sit around the family hearth and glower at each other.
Oh, no, that's over now. He's nothing more than a friend, a very dear, very rich, and I'm afraid a very lonely one.
Now, I must be a fool to be able to forget you, Mad. I know I never could.
Don't you dare ever try.
No danger, beautiful. But methinks I see a sign of life in this forsaken waste.
Where?
Oh, you see those lights ahead?
Reggie, this is it. This is Tyne Oaks.
The welcoming committee. Say, that mastiff looks as if he'd like a pound or two of leg. Now, take it easy, Hound. We've been invited. Hello there. Would you let us in, please?
Who's there?
Oh, it's Amos. Amos, this is Miss Madeline.
Why, Miss Madeline, hello, child. Of course, Master Tom's expecting you all. He's pacing the floor right now, he is.
Amos, this is my husband, Master Reginald Crane.
Yes, Master Reginald. Welcome to Tyne Oaks. You'll just drive up to the house. Master Tom is powerful anxious to see you all.
Well, Mad, this is wonderful, really wonderful. I thought you'd never get here. And this is, I presume, the lucky gentleman.
Yes, Tommy. This is Reggie.
Of course, Reggie. Well, take your things off and join me in the drawing room for a little drink. Lena, take Mrs. Crane's things.
Yes, Master Tom. Thank you, Lena. I'd very much like to clean up.
Let me see now. That's one, and another. There's your drinks. Amos, take our guest things to their rooms.
Rooms?
Okay, this one's got quite a bit of stereotyping in it too. We think we're gonna skip this one. Let's go with the CBS Mystery Theater. I think we'll run with those here for the evening. Let's see. All right, let's try this one.
Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. All of us are selfish to some degree. We protect our own desires and dreams, but within reason. For we inhabit a world where we must make certain compromises and respect other people's feelings. We had better. For the quickest way to lose everything is to try to have everything the way we want it. For then the fates that dog all our heels have a way of catching up.
There's no going back. No going forward. Where do I go from here?
You've lost me, Laura, and you can't have him. Only one thing to do. You're right over the canyon.
But the car. Not the car.
Nothing matters anymore now. You gambled and lost.
Our mystery drama, The Plastic Man, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Don Scardino. It is sponsored in part by Buick Motor Division. I'll be back shortly with Act One. As I said in the beginning, this is a story of an extraordinarily selfish man, a sort of product of our times. George Hartford, who could well be named the Plastic Man. Note his action and reaction to the oldest and most productive relationship in the history of man.
Come on, Jane, knock it off. It isn't the end of the world.
Not yours, George. You've made that quite clear.
I wanted to lay it on the table. No messing around. A clean break. The least sweat.
The least sweat? Well, it's one description for the end of a love affair, I suppose.
Now, don't get me wrong, babe.
I really don't anymore. You shook me up, but you woke me up.
Now you're with it, kid. Look, if we don't swing anymore, there's no...
Oh, I love your succinct statement in mod lingo. We don't swing anymore. May I remind you that we were going to be married? I wasn't swinging with you. I thought I was building something for the future.
Okay, Jane, so it just didn't work out like that.
Someone else?
No.
You're cutting out because this was getting just a little too serious for you. It might be the end of fun and games. You were on the point of being asked to contribute something in return.
Jane, does it have to be all this much of a drag?
Oh, perish the thought. I wouldn't want to ruffle your peacock feathers for the moment. But just one comment. You are heading for a rude awakening. Someday, one of your women won't be as accommodating as I am. Stop the car.
What are you talking about? You're only halfway home.
I just discovered I'm not even that far. All I want is to get off.
George?
Hey, big bud. How's it going, Matt?
Hey, fine, just fine. Hey, what are you doing home so early? I thought you had a big, heavy date with Jane.
We split.
Split? Just like that?
Just like that.
Well, what was the quarrel?
It was getting kind of heavy, so I wanted out.
Mm-hmm. How did she take it?
Oh, you know dames. Big fuss over nothing. Got anything to eat in the joint?
Nothing but humble pie, little bud.
Huh?
A cupboard is bare, and you wouldn't eat any of it even if it was there.
So I'll settle for a beer. Then maybe I'll do a little prowling. Pick up a pizza and, who knows, maybe even something more nourishing, huh?
You know, you ought to do something about that sex drive. Now, one of these days, you're going to get your head caught in a ringer.
Okay, why don't you give me a reading, Shrink, huh? I'm all stretched out on the couch. How'd you like to probe my inner psyche?
You haven't got a psyche. All you've got is one large itch and no conscience.
Oh, so much for brotherly love. I can't even get a free treatment from the family psychiatrist. So, you don't want to talk to me? I'll have to...
Now, hold it, George. Matter of fact, I do want to talk to you. I'm moving out.
Hey, wait a minute. I'm that bad? You're really sore at me?
No, that's beside the point at the moment. You know, I'm a full resident now, and Fran just got a raise, so we've been looking at apartments. We figure we can go ahead now and get married.
The ball and chain, huh? It's a big step, Matt. Why rush it?
Well, I wouldn't expect you to understand, George. I want to live with Fran.
Okay, fine. But marriage? I mean, who needs it these days? Look, why tie yourself down?
I wouldn't expect you to understand that either, George.
Oh, come on, old sober sides. You just don't see where it's at. I mean, like, today is all wide open.
It doesn't work that way for everybody, George.
Okay. What's your bag is yours, and what's mine is mine.
The trouble is, gorgeous G, you keep trapping the other sex in it like you were a bounty hunter. It worries me.
Why?
Well, first of all, because some pretty nice girls get damn roughed up by you. Jane, for one.
Oh, come on. Look, don't make me sound like a child molester. Any dame I play around with is old enough to know the score.
It's more than just a game. It's an obsession, my friend, and as a psychiatrist, I don't particularly like its implications.
Oh, brother. Here we go with the Don Juan Casanova bit again. It's basically an inferiority complex, and I'm driven to prove myself. Or else it's an Oedipus complex. Down deep in my id or whatever, I hated Pop, and I...
Yeah. It may be funny to you, but you might be surprised if you could understand how much basic truth there is in it. But that isn't the main thing.
So what is?
It's just your arrogant, selfish insensitivity. You know what you are? You're a plastic man. You haven't got one real human emotion in you, and I'm sorry for all the nice girls you've twisted up inside. Give the next one a break. Let her know about you from the start, so at least she goes into it with her eyes open.
You got the wrong idea about women, Matt. They're a hell of a lot tougher than we are.
I am not going to get trapped in an argument. I just hope you don't get trapped one of these days with one of them who won't be as obliging as they all have been up to now. Your luck can't last forever. Sooner or later, you are going to get caught in a buzzsaw. Don't say I didn't warn you.
My brother Matt was a good guy, but just a little square. And the chicks, well, you know how it is. You take them as they come. Like I say, it's a big world, and if you want to hang yourself up with one old lady permanently, that's your own business. Me, I like to hang loose. I never figured old George here would get hung up on one, and surely not the way it happened. Hi. You dropped your sun oil in the sand.
Oh, did I? You're very kind. Are you one of the staff here?
No, I'm a guest. Why?
Oh, just your... I mean, you look like one of them.
Well, thanks for the good word. These jocks that work the staff here are really built. No, I'm just taking a week off from the daily grind. And a friend said these Club Pacificos really swing. I don't know, maybe I missed the season. Till now.
What do you mean?
Well, I haven't run into you up till now. You just get here?
Why, no. We've been here a couple of days, but we drove down. We've been touring the countryside some.
Hot work this weather. Me, I'll take the water. Or a nice, long drink by the pool. Huh? Hey, it's about that time. Can I buy you one?
Well, Why not? If you'll wait long enough for me to take one quick dip in the sea to wash the sand off.
She came up from that beach lounger in one long, fluid move like a cat. My breed. I watched her run down and into the water. A one-piece suit, but it didn't hide any of that figure. Long waist, long legs. The club was beginning to live up to its reputation. Pernod long, right?
Right. How many beads do you want?
Hey, I said the drinks were on me.
I pay my own freight, the way we travel.
Ah, there's that we again. Roommate?
Husband.
Oh, and he lets you out without a leash?
It's a free country. He's confined to our cabin. He picked up amoebic dysentery some years ago in India. It's hell to get rid of.
India? You travel a lot?
He does. He's a parapsychologist.
I heard the word. Clue me in a little deeper.
It's the branch of psychology that deals with unexplained phenomena. Clairvoyance, ESP, mental telepathy. You had enough?
Ask a silly question, you get
A complex answer.
So no more questions, except like... Well, my name's George. George Hartford. What's yours?
You're not an insurance salesman.
No, cars. Business is a little slow right now. That's why I thought I'd catch a week off. Or was till I met... did I catch your name?
Laura Prentice. Here's looking at you.
That's fair enough. It's all I've done since I set eyes on you.
I noticed.
Listen, it's kind of hot out here in the sun. My cabin is air conditioned.
So is ours.
Well, I just meant, why disturb your husband?
Now, that is definitely not a silly question. Here.
What's this?
My beads. Buy us both another drink, George. And let's see how cool your pad really is. Why... Oh, why did I do this?
Come on, Laura. It's no crime.
I know it isn't to you. Some of us are fashioned a little differently.
Hey, that's only an illusion, baby. It's natural, and whatever is natural is right.
You wouldn't understand. It isn't morals I'm concerned with.
Well, then what?
Oh, I could never make you understand in a million years, George.
So, that's the kiss-off, huh?
It ought to be. But it's too good for me to have the strength of will to let it go that easily.
Now you're talking.
No, not here. Tomorrow, away from the club. I have my car. We'll drive somewhere for the day. I'll say I'm going shopping in Puerto Vallarta or Guadalajara. You're the lucky sinner. You don't need any excuse. I'll meet you at the parking lot after breakfast.
Oh, how do I find you?
It isn't hard. It's the only green Mercedes. And the license plate is 6999. I wanted 7,000 for luck, but I never could swing it. Till tomorrow, if you want to risk it.
She was kind of offbeat, this chick, and married and all, so I might have passed her up. If it hadn't been for the car. I flipped when I saw it. A Mercedes 56, gull-wing coupe in British racing green, like she said. A dream classic.
0 to 60 in 9 seconds flat. Quick ratio steering, independent suspension, and handles like it's part of the road. Plus the price tag. 12 to 15 thou in mint condition. And this baby was. While I was drooling over it, my other babe, also mint condition, arrived. This yours?
A gift from my husband.
You know what you've got here?
I ought to. It's what I asked for.
I never saw a 56 in green before.
It took a little digging to find it. I wanted it to match my eyes.
Cat's eyes.
The better to see you with. You want to drive it?
Do I? Climb in, Big Mama.
You can like my car, but only if it's second, after me.
It's a tough choice, but I like your moving parts better. Okay, where to?
Straight to hell, lover. Or heaven.
I started up that dream boat, and she was heaven under my hands, just as Laura would be later. What I didn't know was that her husband was watching us, and the living hell that was in store for me.
It's hard to have much sympathy, if any, for our plastic man, George. He's an expert in taking without giving. But you may have a little sympathy soon as we watch a punishment which is infinitely more infernal than the crime. I'll be back shortly with Act 2. To watch George Hartford drive that Mercedes that hugged the road, floating as though on rails and cornering to perfection, to watch his face and the fanaticism of the faddists suffusing it, was to know our plastic man had an Achilles heel. One spot where he was vulnerable, his passion for classic cars. And in Laura, he had found an unlikely companion.
It looks as if I lost you just when I found you.
I'm sorry, babe, but a car like this, man, this is far out.
I know. Why do you think I wanted it? Took 4 years of begging and other things to get it.
Greatest feeling in the world, right?
It was. Or at least a substitute
till there was us, huh?
If I'm really included in.
Come again?
Forget it. It's our karma. Too late to offer you a way out.
Wait a minute. You lost me somewhere.
I should probably never have found you. George, there could be danger. You want to turn back?
I don't make all this. You mean your husband?
Yes.
Well, what is he? King Kong or the Godfather?
Oh, no. Horace is quite small and very mild and very rich. I'm quite willing to admit the last is what attracted me to him. I didn't know then about the other.
The other what?
How deep his interest in psychical research was. Or how powerful some of the forces involved are.
Hey, you know something, babe? You're talking kind of weird.
6 years with Horace would make any woman a little offbeat. I've been walking in a bad dream. You woke me up, love. Oh, look. There's a motel, George, or whatever you call them in old Mexico. It's too much talking that gets everybody into trouble.
Now you're talking, Laura. But making sense. It was still early in the afternoon, but something wakened me suddenly. For a moment, I didn't know where I was. Then, as my eyes focused on the bright yellow ceilings of the Casa Romantica, I realized that the whimpers were coming from the girl by my side. Hey, Laura? Laura, hey. Hey, baby.
What? Oh.
Hey.
Oh, George. Don't say anything. Just hold me. Hold me a moment.
Okay. Hey, stay loose. We didn't blow up the Capitol or anything. I mean, we're not on the wanted list.
He knows.
Who?
Horace.
Knows what?
About us.
Hon, if you got a guilty conscience...
No, this isn't conscience. It's beyond it. Let me go, George. Let me go.
Where are you going?
I just have to get up to the window and get some air.
Here. Why don't you wrap something around you?
Will that make me decent? All right. George?
What?
You're a very selfish man. I know this is just a casual affair for you that you drifted into. I suppose I shouldn't worry about you. But you asked for it. Let me say it once. I'm sorry. But it's way too late for either of us to back out. Now, let's get dressed and back to the club.
I'll say one thing for you, Laura. You do come up with the surprises. But I must say, this is one bummer of a so long, Dad.
Oh, you and I haven't finished, George. We've only begun. That's part of the karma, too.
I didn't like this whole gig. I was into something I couldn't grab. Kind of a nowhere for me because I'm the one who usually decides where it's at. Driving to the bus stop, too, I had this crazy notion that maybe it was the Mercedes 56 I'd miss more than her. It was all mixed up. And coming home to my cabin late in the evening, just at dark, I got shook up some more.
Have a nice bus ride, Mr. Hartford.
What? Who the hell are you? What are you doing in my cabin?
I'm sorry. I thought for me, in a sense, it was kind of a home away from home.
How'd you get in here? I locked the door.
How could you lock it against Laura's husband?
Laura? Yeah. I met her on the beach. Hi, Mr. Prentice.
Interesting to meet you, Mr. Hartford.
I guess Laura, Mrs. Prentice mentioned my name.
Mm-hmm.
Can I get you a drink?
No, thanks. Can I get you a cover-up for your embarrassment?
What?
I think we can dispense with unnecessary questions. I want you to leave my wife alone.
Now, just a minute.
I know what's happened between you and Laura, who happens to be my wife. You didn't know what you were getting into. I considered having you roughed up, but I'll let that go. Excuse me, I must leave now. I'll say goodbye. For all of us. If you have a brain in your head, Mr. Hartford, you'll echo that sentiment.
Just for curiosity's sake, with a slight flapping under my heart, I checked the following morning. The M56 was gone, and the desk clerk informed me so were the Prentices. I breathed easier, lived out my week without a pigeon worth making a pass at, and went back to my office in Los Angeles. It was nice to get back to plain living.
Hey, you look great, George. You picked up a lot of sun, huh?
That's about all that was going there, Matt. How about you? You set the wedding date?
Yep. 3 weeks from today. Can you make it?
Hey, can you see me not?
No. How could you turn down another opportunity to be best man?
Okay, work me over. I deserve it, I guess.
George, what's the matter? Don't tell me the leopard is changing his spots. You meet someone on your little cruise casing Mexican talent?
I met someone. Not Mexican, just real offbeat. What do you think of parapsychology, Matt?
Oh, brother. I mean, in more ways than one. I have enough trouble handling my own specialty in the vagaries of the human brain, psyche, condition, however you define it. Parapsychology. That's another breed of cat.
Cat?
Huh?
Nothing. But you didn't answer.
Well, I don't know how to answer. It's a gray area. The research is too new, too limited to prove anything or mean much. Why?
just an idle question.
Yeah, don't try to kid me, George. Nothing you ask is idle.
Okay. I met a dame who was hung up on this scene, and I just wondered how much there might be to it.
Well, you want my opinion? It's not too much. Now, that's in general. But specifically for you, if you're asking my advice, give her a wide berth. Your life is mixed up enough as it is without voluntarily trying to complicate it any further. Okay?
Right on.
Because no matter how much I object to your personal life, you're my brother. Means a hell of a lot to me to know you'll be standing next to me when I get married.
I'd have to be dead or nowhere before I missed that. The day after I had lunch with my brother Matt, she rolled into my dealer's lot. I should say they. The Mercedes 56. English green with that unforgettable license plate. And the equally unforgettable Laura behind the wheel. I had no escape. Our office building is all glass. As the lesser of two evils, I went out to meet her myself. Yes, madam? What can I do for you?
Oh, of all people. How could you ask?
Are you crazy blowing in here? Doesn't your husband
Horace
know?
is on the other side of the world, in India. He's gone on retreat for a month.
Whatever that means.
It means he's in transcendental meditation. You'd call it out of this world. It also means I am free.
Look, Laura, I like to swing as much as the next man, but, baby, I think we ought to drop it. That little guy scared me. And you...
Yes, and me.
You really got through. You got to me. I can't comb you out.
So climb in. This time I'll be driving, and I'll show you I can handle this baby just as well as you can.
I can't just walk out on my business like that. I'll tell you what. I'll meet you in half an hour at, say, Wilshire and Beverly, northwest corner.
That's a date. Don't you miss it.
It was a date, all right. A date with destiny. Though, how could I have known it then? I cleaned up my desk, turned the agency over to my head salesman, and drove out of the lot. I parked my heap short of Beverly and walked the rest of the way. She was waiting for me. I climbed in and we drove off for her house in Bel Air.
Now you will both have to suffer the consequences.
What?
You heard him, too.
What are you talking about?
Horace, my husband. He knows about us.
You gotta be kidding. I mean, if he really is in India...
Oh, he's there. It doesn't make any difference.
Look, I don't dig any of this. It's too wide out. All I know is I'm getting out right now. I never should have climbed back in.
We're committed now.
No way, baby.
It's out of our hands. Horace doesn't want me back.
How do you know?
He's telling me right now.
From India?
I warned you you were getting into something beyond your understanding.
Okay, so great. Now I'm on my way out.
You can't. This just isn't a silly girl who's trying to hang on. I told you the moment I laid eyes on you. I knew you were my karma.
Hey, what's this karma jive?
My fate. And yours. You can try. But you'll never escape me.
Don't kid yourself. I know when I've had enough. I'm blowing this scene, and this is goodbye. I lit out of there like my tail was on fire. Matt had warned me I'd get caught in a nutcracker one of these days, and this looked like one of them. And man, it was weird. When I read about the crash the next day, I felt like a real heel. But I heaved a sigh of relief just the same. I didn't have any feeling of guilt. Or did I? Why should I? If only I had known what she was thinking on that last ride, maybe... But how could I know?
There's no going back. There's no going forward. Where do I go from here?
You've lost me, Laura,
I read it in the morning papers. Woman plunges to fiery death off Coldwater Canyon. Both car and driver completely destroyed by fire. Police determined by one remaining license plate that the victim must have been Mrs. Laura Prentice. I felt kind of sick, but relieved. That was the end of that.
Only, as we shall discover, that was not the end of either car or driver. The world is full of George Hartfords who get away with murder in a general sense, but odds have a way of evening up, and this time George isn't going to get away with anything. I'll return shortly with Act 3. This story is a snowball, starting from microscopic beginnings, gathering momentum and mass as it rushes down the hill. The tension and terror building from nothing to a massive and inevitable crash, and, like the snowball, being fractionalized into nothing again.
It was less than a week since Laura and the Mercedes 56 had been burned to cinders. I was crossing the canyon from my pad in Van Nuys, taking Matt over to meet his bride.
What's the matter with you lately, George?
Don't worry about me. Let's concentrate on the big date, huh? How many days to the wedding, Matt?
A little over a week. Can't wait. That makes me kind of sad, little brother. I wish you could meet a girl you could settle down with.
I'm off dames for the moment. This girl Hey! What kind of crazy... It's the Mercedes, and Laura at the wheel. Look out!
What is the matter with you? You out of your mind?
I had to go off the road. Matt, that crazy broad would have rammed into us head on.
What are you talking about?
The green Mercedes that came around the bend. Didn't you see it? Or her?
Round what bend?
Coming the other way, headed towards us.
George, we haven't passed any cars coming or going in the last few minutes.
We just about rammed one going the opposite way less than a minute ago.
A green Mercedes?
Yeah, a 56, a classic. Didn't you see it?
No, I didn't, because it wasn't there.
I tell you, plain as day. It was broad daylight. I saw it. And her. I tell you.
A green Mercedes with a girl named Laura at the wheel.
Yes.
Yeah, the same girl. And the same car you say you read about in the paper a few days ago, who went up in flames.
That must have been some coincidence, some mistake. I don't know.
Well, we're going to check it out, George. Now, you said the police found a license plate.
Yes, but they didn't give the numbers in the paper.
Yeah, but if it should be 6999, you'd have to agree with me there wasn't any car today that you had to avoid, right?
But I saw it.
What you saw could have been a hallucination. Now, we better pin it down right now.
I could have told Matt what he'd find out. I knew it even before he checked with the police. I knew the plate number would be 6999, and I knew something else. It didn't matter what he found out. I hadn't seen the last of the green Mercedes 56 or the girl who drove it, dead or alive. I took a fast powder and went out to get loaded.
The name's Ginny. Ginny Blake.
Oh, George here. George Hartford.
So, now we're bosom buddies. Buy me a drink?
Sure. What's your poison?
You'll laugh.
I could use one.
A horse's neck. Plain soda, anything soft. Funny, huh?
No, except why would you... Well, what are you wasting your time on a guy like me for?
I don't know. I come here sometimes, and either I'm too shy to say hello to anyone, or I don't like the guys who try to turn me on. I'm lonely. That's why I come.
You really want that drink?
No. I'm up to here already.
So am I. How'd you like to drive me home, Ginny? And then I'll give you car fare back to your pair.
Oh, when do I leave for my place?
Right after you drop me at my door. I'm not looking to make out tonight.
That's a new line. Could be the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Come on, I'll take a chance. You don't seem all that loaded to me.
I'm not. I've got other problems.
You got a habit?
No, nothing like that. I got a bigger monkey on my back.
You're kind of screwed up, George, and I'm sorry for you. I'd honestly like to help, if I could.
Well, I don't think anyone can. I guess I went out and bought my own private set of... Look out!
What is it?
Can't you see it? The Mercedes headed straight for us.
Let go of the wheel.
No, you've got to get out of the way. Didn't you see the car? It went right through us. As if we weren't there.
What car? There wasn't any car. Boy, are you on some trip. Boy, George, I had it with you. There's a bus stop here. I can find my own way home. You don't need company. What you need is a head doctor.
I don't know how long I lay parked there. I'd closed my eyes. Maybe I went to sleep. But all of a sudden I realized that the Mercedes had driven up alongside of me. And Laura was leaning towards me to talk.
Come on, George. I've been looking for you. Let's go.
No, I can't. I'm not ready.
Sooner or later. Why not now? I'm waiting for you. How long do I have to wait?
My car was still running. I threw into first and cut out sharp into traffic. The hood of my car, bumper, all the way to the windshield, cut through the Mercedes like it was drawn in midair, or just wasn't there at all. I don't remember how I got home or to bed. I only know that with the help of 5 or 6 black coffees, I found myself able to face my brother Matt the next morning.
So you proved it to yourself. The car, the woman, was a hallucination.
No, she was there. I heard her speak twice now.
George, I checked out the license plate with a friend at police headquarters. There's no doubt that she crashed in that car.
Then why do I keep seeing her and hearing her?
Well, it's a fixation, guilt reflex.
So get rid of it for me. Well, that's your job, isn't it?
No, sir, that's your job, if you can.
I can't.
Well, possibly, certainly not alone. You gotta have help, George.
That's what I'm asking you for.
Oh, no, not me.
My own brother? Am I that much of a heel to you?
That is not the point. I just started my residency in psychiatry. You're way beyond me, George.
Well, then give me a man to go to. Some doctor who can handle me. She was always there, trailing me in the M56, not 15 feet behind me. But that wasn't the worst part. Through the car, I could see the line of traffic stretching behind her, with sometimes a car coming up behind and cutting right through the spectral green vehicle that wasn't there for anyone but me. I made up my mind to have it out and headed for the house in Bel Air.
Come in, Mr. Hartford. I've been expecting you.
Thank you.
There's no need to thank me.
Oh, well, anyway, thank heaven you're here. I thought you might still be in India.
Oh, no. I came back for my wife's death.
What? For?
I landed from the plane at the moment she went over the cliff. You see, I knew she was going.
But how could you?
I sent her to her death.
You know, she's following me. I can't get rid of her. Or the car.
I know. And you came to ask me for help.
Oh, yes. Please help me.
You must help yourself, George. You didn't hesitate to in the beginning when it was something that didn't belong to you. Why hold back now?
What do you mean?
You'll never be rid of her as long as you live. Why don't you join her, George? You see? There she is. She's waiting for you. Join her!
I was outside the house, the door shut in my face, and parked in the driveway facing me was the green Mercedes. I went a little berserk, hurling myself into my own car, ramming her into first and driving in a scattering of gravel and dust straight through that infernal vision. I smashed into Sunset, turning left in a screech of tires, heading for Coldwater Canyon and back to the valley. But all the time, my nemesis followed me, riding up my back, tailgating me. Then, at the top of the hill, suddenly riding on air, right out over the valley, the Mercedes drew abreast of me.
Why don't you join me, lover? I'm waiting.
Join her. It's the only way.
All right! Damn it! Have it your way! Here I come!
I'm so sorry, Matt. Your poor brother.
I'm so sorry for so many things, Fran. For what he was, for what he made of himself, for the help I couldn't give him. But most of all, for calling him a plastic man.
What do you mean, darling?
Turns out he wasn't. There was a chink in his armor, whether he knew it or not. His conscience.
You mean for that woman's suicide? The one with the Mercedes?
Yes. They hadn't even had time to repair the guardrail. He went right through the same gap she did. Well, no sense agonizing about it. What's done is done. At least she won't be haunting him anymore.
I wonder. There's quite a legend grown up about that stretch of road. On misty nights or dark ones with the moon seen fitfully through clouds, a lot of people swear they pass a Mercedes colored English green. Some say the woman was driving, some say the man. But then, that would be easy to confuse, since by now the paint is peeling, the clothing is half rotted away, and the figures themselves are little more than skin and bone. The hands that grasp the wheel, those of a skeleton. I'll be back shortly. One further note. Shortly after Fran and Matt were married, a large sum of money was given to them by an anonymous source. And at the same time, Horace stripped himself of all his possessions and gave the bulk of his fortune to the School for Psychic Research, where he had taught so long. He left for India and was never heard of again. One story has it that he sits in meditation somewhere high in the Himalayas, treated by the nearby villagers as a holy man. Perhaps so. But is it meditation or expiation? We'll never know. Our cast included Don Scardino, Joan Loring, Russell Horton, and Catherine Byers. The entire production was under the direction of
Cat Girl, welcome on in. Hello, Raiders. Thank you so much for joining in here on the Graveyard Shift. Ghost, thank you so much for following. A very appropriate name given the topic of conversation on the shows that we're playing and the little painting that I'm creating here. Welcome on in. I am so glad to have you. My name is Ira. This is Blind Dad Does. I am a blind guy. The name is actually fitting. I am a blind guy. I do try to do painting, writing, music making, all kinds of different things as my eyes allow me to. Sometimes it fails, sometimes it doesn't. But Cat Girl, thank you so much for coming in with the raid. What were you doing? I'm very curious. My shout outs are not working correctly, so I can't do the whole automatic and see what you were up to. So I'm curious. But thank you so much for coming in. We have been tonight listening to stories from the old radio stories. These, for instance, have been CBS radio mysteries from the early 60s. And I enjoy doing this kind of thing when I'm doing painting sometimes because it gives me something to concentrate on. I don't have to freak myself out trying to keep up with chat. Again, being blind, it's hard for me to both paint, keep up with chat, and all kinds of stuff, as well as keeping you entertained while I'm doing the painting and stuff. So did some art, Mario Kart 8 and some Pokemon Violet. Very, very cool. Very cool. I love Mario Kart myself. It is a blast of a game. What kind of art do you do? I'd love to know if you have like an Instagram or anything that you'd like to share. Links are active in the chat and you can drop something in and I'd love to take a look and see what you what kind of things you do. I kind of do a little bit of everything as far as art goes. It's sort of a thing of whatever happens to take my fancy at that moment in time is what ends up happening. If you look in the top left-hand corner of the screen, you will see an image rotation thing going on where these are all paintings that I have created while doing streaming. Sometimes they're a fail, sometimes they're not, sometimes they do okay, but it's fun to at least try. I do it more for a therapy sort of a thing because, life. So if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, it doesn't. I don't mind too much either way. It gives me something to do, something for my brain to stop going burr to itself and that sort of thing. So you do digital and traditional art and comics. Very cool. Very cool. I love comics. I've been reading comics since I was quite young. I am an older guy, actually, 52 at this point in time, but I've been reading comics since, oh gosh, as far as I can remember, I've always been reading comics, so I love them. Digital and traditional art. What kind of traditional art do you do? I do not do traditional art at this point. I used to do some. My art career started off as being a photographer, and when my vision loss started happening, I moved away from photography and into doing traditional painting. But at this point, my eyes are bad enough that if I try to do something traditional, it kind of leads into the danger zone because of chemicals and that kind of stuff. It's hard for me to make sure I'm paying attention to them as well as I should. So I kind of just do digital art at this point. I use, as you can probably tell, I use Photoshop. I do have Painter and Clip Art Paint, sorry. Clip Studio Paint is it used to be Clip Art thing, but anyways, yeah, so I use Clip Studio Paint here and there, Painter here and there, but primarily I use Photoshop because that's where I've got the most experience. Again, I used it back when I was doing photography many years ago, and I have a lot of things set up in it to help facilitate me being able to do the art in the ways that I need to. For instance, when I start off a painting, I just sort of splat paint all over the canvas and then pick out from there shapes that I can start working with and kind of cut them away like they're clay until I get into a point where I've got an idea of what wants to come out on the canvas. And there's not really any other programs that I've found to be able to facilitate that very well, other than Photoshop. And it's unfortunate because it is very expensive, but again, for me, it's a worthwhile thing to have because it does keep me sane. And we all need something to keep us sane in this insane world, I think. But anyways, yeah. So that's a little bit about me. I do usually have my wife with me on stream as well. But she is currently in bed and 5 feet away from me. So that's another reason why I usually play some of the shows when it's this late at night. It's about, 5 o'clock in the morning here, I think. Yeah, 4:30. I was close enough. So she's asleep just like 5 feet away in the bed. And I used to host radio shows, talk radio shows, as well as doing theater. So my voice is pretty naturally projecting, and I can get rather boisterous at times. And even though she sleeps like a log, I still am concerned that I'm going to wake her up if I, kind of get too excitable and talking too much. So, okay, here's your Instagram. Let me take a look. I don't have my setup right now to be able to show it on screen, so I do apologize for that, cat girl. But I can at least take a look here and see what you've got going on. Let me move this. Okay, there we go. Oh, I see. Okay. And you do animation a little bit too then, right? Yeah, PNG tuber. Okay. Yeah. Oh, these are really good. I see the Red Star one. That one is excellent. I love that one. I like your sales advertisement for your Etsy shop. The cyber sale one. That is really cute. I like that. The Happy Chinese New Year. I like that one a lot too. That is really cool. Cat girl, this is really excellent work. I love it. I see some of your traditional stuff here too. Wow, really, really good stuff. Okay, I'm gonna give this account a follow here. Very, very cool. Oh, I see. I was already following you actually. Haha. I was already following you. Yeah, nice. Very cool. What software do you use to do your animations with? Just out of curiosity. The painting that you see going on right now, I've been working on this one for about 2 hours now. I'm really liking how the lips are coming out. I'm pretty satisfied with them. I'm kind of working on the eyeball right now just to sort of define it a little bit better. But this painting's gone through a few iterations now to kind of get satisfied with it. I'm digging it so far, though. I don't usually, I don't always do dark art or creepy art. I do tend towards doing like creatures and that kind of thing because it's something that I enjoy doing. But I have of late been doing more darker kind of art. While I've been listening to some of these horror shows and stuff, it sort of has an influence, right? So Clip Studio Paint, very cool. Yeah, Clip Studio Paint is really, it's actually pretty powerful. I have enjoyed my time with it. I'm not as good with it as I am with Photoshop, but it's only because I've got a lot more experience with Photoshop. But Clip Studio Paint is definitely very, very good. I like it a lot. Painter is really good too. I have the Painter 2021. I picked it up from the Humble Bundle a couple of years ago, and I've used it here and there, but again, I'm just not as good with it as I am with Photoshop because I can't use the same brushes in either of those programs that I have set up with Photoshop, and I'm not sure how to make the brushes comparable between the two programs. So I just haven't bothered. And I know I need to. I have time on my hands that I could. I haven't done it. We all have those modes, right? But I am going to go ahead and start another show here real quick and see what I can do to finish this painting before I do have to get off tonight. Let's see. I think we're going to do this one called Can You Trust Your Husband? Seems like it'd be an interesting one. But Catgirl, thank you again so much for rating in. I deeply appreciate it. And I'm very aware of the fact that when people are here, they are sacrificing their time to be here with me. And I so appreciate it. Let me say this for the Raiders and for everybody else who's here and listening. No matter who you are, no matter what you're going through, you are worthy of being loved. And please don't let anybody teach you any different. The only thing that anybody can ever expect of you is that you're being the best you that you can be in that moment in time. And that might not be anything more than getting up, getting a bite to eat, and going back to sleep. And that's okay. If that's the best that you can do in that moment, then so be it. Nobody can expect anything else, including yourself. So I encourage all of you to be gentle with yourselves, no matter what you're going through, whether it's good or bad. Be gentle with yourselves. Manage your expectations with yourselves. And understand that you are loved no matter what. Make sure you stay hydrated. Make sure you get a bite to eat. Get enough rest. Lord knows I need to obey those things myself. I'm a big fail with those myself sometimes. So I say these things to remind myself just as much as to remind you as well. So, all right. I love you guys. Let's get to the story and I'll get back to the painting here.
Now, Mystery Theater.
Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall, Chamberlain in this court of the mysterious and the macabre. The act of trust seems to get short shrift from the poets, the philosophers, and even the prophets. An early American sage warns us to trust everybody but cut the cards. The book tells us, put not your trust in princes. Very well and very good, but you have to trust somebody. Can anyone go all the way through this life without trusting another human being?
What is it you want me to do?
Show me how to use this.
That's a revolver.
Exactly.
Where did you get it?
I don't think that's important.
Why, I don't think I should help you to...
Well, if you don't, I'll probably kill myself trying to figure it out.
But you don't need a revolver.
I feel safer with it in the house. Ted is away so much.
Well, you flick out the cylinder.
Mm-hmm.
And you insert the shells into these chambers.
I see.
And now you flick back the cylinder, and I hope you never have to use it. But the gun is ready to fire. You just point it and pull the trigger.
Like, so?
Like so. But not at me.
Why not at you?
Myra.
I intend to kill you.
Our mystery drama, Can You Trust Your Husband, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Sam Dan and stars Joan Lovejoy and Mandel Kramer. Somehow, love seems to have become the province of the young. Ask almost anyone to name two people who are deeply in love, and the answer almost automatically is Romeo and Juliet. Well, let's face it, Romeo and Juliet were a couple of teenagers who only knew each other for a brief interval. They conveniently died before they would have to weather the storms of marriage and responsibility. The lovers of record should be Philemon and Baucis, or Darby and Joan, Couples who lived with each other and put up with each other for 50 and 60 years. That, dear friends, is love. All this is by way of introduction to the Mallards, Ted and Myra. Married 25 years. And as far as we know, there's never been an argument or even a harsh word. It's all been one long, beautiful honeymoon, as far as we know. Let our story begin late one autumn evening as the doorbell rings in their comfortable, well-appointed apartment.
Just a minute. You'll have to wait, Ted. Next time, carry your keys. Oh, Bert.
Did I wake you, Myra?
No, I never can sleep while Ted's awake. Come on in.
Thanks.
Ted isn't home yet. I guess his plane was late.
Why, yes, it was.
Oh, I knew it.
But...
But what?
Well,
Well, something's wrong.
Well...
Bert, what are you trying to tell me?
Well, whatever it is, I guess I'm not doing a very good job of it.
It's Ted.
Yes, it's about Ted.
Something's happened to him. The plane.
Oh, now, Myra, just a minute.
I've been listening to the radio all night. I haven't heard anything about a plane.
No, it isn't the plane.
Then what is it?
The plane landed more than 3 hours ago.
Bert, tell me what's happened to Ted.
Well, I'm trying to. It's not easy.
Do you know where he is?
He's in jail.
Jail? Why? What for?
Well, I said it's not easy. I'm not sure. He was arrested as he came through customs.
Well, tell me why.
Well, I suppose for smuggling.
Smuggling? Oh, that's impossible. There has to be a mistake.
Oh, I'm sure of it.
We have to get hold of Arthur Kremen.
I already did.
Or doesn't he practice that kind of law?
He'll get someone else if he can't handle it.
Handle what?
Well, all I know is Ted called me, and they allowed them one phone call.
Please, Bert, get to it.
Well, he said, Bert, I'm being accused of smuggling. Call Arthur, and then tell Myra.
But what is he accused of smuggling?
Heroin or cocaine. I'm not sure.
But that's ridiculous. How could Ted possibly be involved in anything like that?
They found it in his attaché case.
But it's all a mistake, a terrible mistake. Or else it's a joke. A very bad joke. Ted, oh,
Myra,
darling.
Myra, I didn't want you to come here.
Why not?
Because it's a prison cell.
Are you all right?
I don't know. I'm in prison, Myra.
Well, it's not exactly prison. You're just being held here because of some awful misunderstanding.
Oh, darling, it's prison. People like me, like us, we only read about these things.
But Arthur says he'll go before a judge in the morning and see about setting bail.
That's another word. Bail. Do you realize I'm going to be out on bail as if I was some common criminal?
Darling, Ted, tell me what happened. I simply couldn't get a word out of Bert.
What happened? How many times have I done this? I got off the plane, picked up my luggage, walked through customs, except this time I didn't walk through. This time, when they searched my attaché case, they found a packet, they say, of first-grade cocaine.
Well, then it couldn't have been your attaché case.
But it was.
Wow. How did the cocaine get there?
I don't know.
Couldn't you have seen it?
No.
Why not?
Because it was concealed in a secret compartment.
What secret compartment?
I don't know, darling. I didn't know I had one.
But surely...
Surely what?
Surely nothing, darling. I know how upset you are. You don't need me giving you a third degree.
They were waiting for me, Myra.
Waiting?
Yes. Ordinarily, customs is just a routine. This time there were 3 or 4 of them out there. They emptied the papers out of my case. One of them had some kind of a screwdriver, and he...
You mean that they actually expected to find something?
Yes. And then there was this cellophane, or I think they call it glassine, a packet just filled with powder.
Well, it's a mistake.
Well, of course.
Obviously, it couldn't have been your attaché case. You see, that's the answer.
Myra, I told you it was.
Ted, you're being framed.
That's the only thing that makes any sense.
But why?
Because I travel regularly between New York and London on legitimate business. I'd make an ideal courier.
Somebody's been using you. People, a gang that's involved in smuggling, that they watch for regular travelers. I know it sounds crazy, but they managed to get hold of your bag somehow.
I don't know what's going to happen now, Myra.
Well, I know what's going to happen. Tomorrow, the mistake or whatever it is will be straightened out.
I don't know if it ever can be straightened out completely.
Ted, what are you saying? You're innocent.
Am I innocent? You know it, and I know it, but what about the rest of the world? Don't forget this will be in all the papers.
But it's so obviously a frame-up.
To whom? Myra, there are people who actually believe that if a person isn't guilty, he'd never have been arrested in the first place.
Ted, that's crazy.
Of course it is, but that's what's out there.
But everyone knows that you're an honest, hard-working, ethical
man. In the
man.
minds of so many people, there will be a nagging little nasty suspicion. Could he really have been involved?
Well, this is going to be a good way of finding out who your friends really are.
Suddenly I feel as if I'm part of another world, Myra, a world you and I never knew. It's no longer our logical, well-ordered universe. All of a sudden, I'm a criminal.
Darling, you're not.
I'm in a cage, deprived of my freedom. Look at them, the rest of them, as you leave here. The thugs, the hoodlums, the thieves. I'm one of them.
Ted.
Look at them as you leave, because I can't leave. I have to stay.
Darling, not for long.
Myra, you've got to get me out. The shame of this. The disgrace. I can't stand it.
Hello?
Myra,
Bert, where are you?
courthouse.
Was Arthur able to get bail set?
Well, that's what I'm calling you.
Bert, please, just tell me.
There's a problem, Myra, and Arthur's going to be tied up with it, so he asked me to call you.
Bert, will you please tell me?
Well, it looks like Arthur can't get bail.
What do you mean he can't get bail?
Well,
It's the law. A person is entitled to bail.
he is and he isn't.
Well, I'm going right down there.
Myra, it won't do you any good. You see, because of the size of the package, and the fact that they've had their eye on Ted for a long
Now,
time.
you just stop there.
Well, I'll go ahead and pause the show here for a moment. Welcome on in, Raiders. Thank you so much. I'm going to try to catch everything here as I can, but you'll have to pardon me. I am a blind guy, and I am alone here right now, so I'm trying to make sure that I keep up with things. Who was it that raided? Valora. Oh, my goodness. Valora. Thank you so much for the big raid. Oh my goodness. I am so happy to see all of you guys. Welcome to the Graveyard Shift. My name is Ira, and I hope that you're having a very good time zone no matter where you are. I'm going to try to catch everybody who has followed here. Let's see. Oh goodness. I'm a blind guy. Please pardon me. Galler's Dragon. Peru. Yeah, thank you for the follows. Thank you for the raid. Thank you so much for being here. So my name is Ira. I am a blind guy. I try to do painting. I try to do writing. I try to do gaming. I try to do basically anything that I can get my fingers upon. Sometimes I fail. Sometimes I don't. It all depends. I have been working on this painting here tonight, and I think that it's turning out pretty decently, at least so far from what I can see. But yeah, when it's this late at night, I usually play some audio stories from the past. And tonight we've been listening to some from the CBS Radio Mysteries. The reason why I do it is because I used to be a talk radio host, and I've also done theater. And so I have a very projecting kind of a voice. My wife is asleep about 5 feet away from me, and even though she sleeps like a log, I don't want to wake her up with it. So you guys know how that kind of thing is. Broken D-pad. Thank you so much for the follow. I appreciate it. I'm glad to have all of you guys here with me tonight, and I hope that you are having a good time as well. Valora, what were you up to? I am very curious. You work graveyard 24 years now. I have been a third shifter pretty much my entire life. The jobs that I worked that weren't third shift, I absolutely despise because I can't stand being awake before 11 a.m. It is a big fail for me. So thank you. I appreciate that, Broken. If you guys are curious about other things that I have created as far as art goes, up in the top left-hand corner, you'll see some of the paintings that I've done while doing streams. Most of them have been over the past couple of months. A few of them are a little bit older, but yeah, I try to do what I can with it. With my vision issues, sometimes it's a really big fail. And then there are days where my eyes will actually cooperate a little bit and I can try to get something done. So I have my monitor on an arm and get it to about an inch in front of my face. And that kind of lets me, with a hell of a lot of squinting and not a little bit of pain, try to get some kind of acuity to be able to see what I'm doing. But I cannot do lines very well. So I always start off my paintings by just splattering paint across the canvas and sort of cutting it away with like it's a bit of clay or something. So playing a retro game tonight, The Secret of Monkey Island. I freaking love that game. I played that game when it first originally came out, and I freaking loved it. LucasArts did a lot of really great games back in the day, and that is definitely one of them. So, let's see. In my town, there is a famous old-time radio workshop. Even seen some of the live SFX stuff. It's great. That is really cool, Peru. I am a big fan of audio dramatizations, and so as I mentioned earlier, I am an author as well. I've got 14 books and dozens of short stories published out there, and I love making audio dramatizations out of my own stories. I do play them once in a while here on the channel, and you guys could probably catch it if you hang out for any length of time. You'll probably hear my own stories getting mixed in with things. But I love these old kind of radio dramas because, well, number one, you know, it's good for me to have something for you guys to listen to while I'm painting, because of my inability to be able to concentrate on things as much as I'd like to. It gives you guys something to listen to while I'm sort of distracted with the painting, and then it gives me something to listen to as well. Yeah, ADHD brain for sure. ADHD, PTSD, DID, yeah, you kind of name it, autism, you name it. I've pretty much got it, you know, in my own brain here. My brain likes to go burr quite frequently. So, anyways, so I love doing these old shows because of the fact that it gives you guys something to do, gives me something to do, and I can kind of keep up with chat in that kind of way. During the daytime, I don't do them as much because my wife is awake and she's very frequently on co-streaming with me, and so she can help to give me cues when people do chatting and that kind of thing. So it helps, you know, but during the night I don't have that as it is. So yeah, that's kind of me in a nutshell, and I hope that you guys are satisfied with that. I guess is the best way I can put it. Before anybody leaves, though, let me make sure to give you guys my my little bit of a blurb here. I like to do this kind of thing on my streams because I know that a lot of people out there have very cruddy families, you know, and you don't often hear the things that should be said. So let me say this, okay? No matter who you are, no matter what you're going through, you are worthy of being loved. And please don't let anybody teach you anything different. The only thing that anybody can ever expect of you is that you are being the best that you can be in that moment in time. And that doesn't always mean being like the best. It just means being the best that you can be in that moment. Sometimes that means we can do nothing more than just get up, get a bite to eat, and go back to bed. And that's okay. Nobody can ever expect anything different from you, including yourself. So be gentle with yourselves, no matter what you're going through. Just be gentle with yourselves and understand that everything that you're going through is going to pass. Free internet, Dad. Make sure you stay hydrated. Make sure you get a bite to eat. Get a lot of rest. And no matter what, I love you. So I hope that helps you. you've been considering getting back into streaming as well, but I know a lot of times I don't have a lot of energy to talk. Anything you'd recommend for me to play in the background? Well, there is about 19 weeks worth of audio stories that I could give you that you could play on your streams if you wanted to. Yeah, I mean, anything along those lines, you know. You could do, well, I know for you in particular, you like things like binaural beats and stuff, and there are places like mynoise.net that you could use. And let me put that link in for those not familiar with it. That is a website that has a really large amount of different audio, how do I put it? Sound effects, audio files, and that kind of thing that are put together in such a way that they loop and mix together in like a beautiful combination of sounds. And a lot of the stuff that they have there is designed to generate a form of like white noise or you know, familiar noise. You can have like the sounds of cafes or a server room, just as an example. You know, it's a really nice site. It has a lot of very good like it's top-notch sound quality. And so you could, for instance, find a mixture of sounds that are going to be soothing your brain and giving you a little bit of inspiration, and you can use that to go on the stream as well. So it's almost 4 a.m., so it's time for sleeps. Have a great rest of your night. You are amazing. Thank you, Valora. It is so good to have you here. I'm glad to be able to be here for you. And I am so grateful that you chose to bring your community over here to mine. And I hope that I can take as good care of them as you do. So thank you so much for being here. Sleep well. Much love to you. And thank you. So, Ollie, that might be a good idea for you. I don't know. It might be at least somewhere to start as far as what to play in the background when you're doing your streams. But I definitely understand that there are times where, even though I'm used to talking a lot, there are times where I just don't have the energy, or I'm not like focused enough to be able to hold conversations for hours upon a time. So, you know, having things for people to listen to or pay attention to or whatever, is helpful. It's helpful. But I like doing these audio stories, number 2, going back to what I was saying earlier, because, I think that in a lot of ways, the world is kind of designed to, have us forget history. And a lot of these stories, even though they might be sometimes cheesy or sometimes have mores and ideas that we don't subscribe to today, they still are an important part of history. And there's something that our ancestors, our background, you know, paid attention to themselves. And so in some ways, it's a way for us to connect up to what they were passionate about or what they enjoyed. And I don't think that's a bad thing sometimes. I was speaking earlier about how sometimes with these older radio shows, there are like some stereotyping, that kind of thing that goes on. I try to avoid the shows that have that the most. And if I do catch it like happening, I'll usually like stop it and move on to another one or something like that. But you know, still it's a part of history, you know? And, so in a way I feel like I'm contributing to helping to archive a lot of these, pieces of history that are no longer, around, you know, and it's kind of an art form that isn't around as much. Some people are still doing it, yes, but it's definitely not as prevalent as it used to be. especially in this world where, so many people are entertained by small form sort of, or small format kind of things, very bite-sized kind of pieces. Having a story that you are sitting there listening to for a half hour is kind of a rare thing these days. It's not very common. So, yeah. So with that, let me get back to the story. We're currently listening to a story called Can You Trust Your Husband? And it's by the CBS Radio Workshop. And I will get back to doing the painting here, and we will talk again after the show is done. And I hope that you guys are enjoying. Much love to all of you. Thank you. Thank you so much for being here on the Graveyard Shift.
Stop right there.
Please, Myra. I'm only reporting the facts. The federal prosecutor moved for suspension of bail.
But that's not legal.
Well, in some cases.
Well, there has to be someone I can talk to.
They claim Ted is so important to this narcotics ring.
What narcotics ring?
That he would simply jump bail and leave the country.
Bert, do you know what you're saying?
Or else his life would be in danger. So what this amounts to is protective custody.
Huh. And Arthur, our fine attorney Arthur, to whom we pay a fortune every year as a retainer, is just standing there and taking it.
Now, Myra, you must be fair to Arthur.
Be fair to Arthur?
Arthur's fighting it. He's filing an appeal. He's going to a higher court, but it has to take time.
Time?
Well, a couple of days, a week.
Bert, I have to hang up now.
Now, you just relax, Myra. Everyone's doing their absolute best. I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, goodbye. All right. Yes?
Mrs. Mallard?
Who are you?
I'm Lieutenant Jack Denson of the Narcotics Squad. We're cooperating with the federal authorities.
And?
Here are my credentials.
I see them.
May I come in?
Why?
To discuss your husband's case.
My husband doesn't have a case. He's a victim of a frame-up, of some sort of ghastly mistake. There's nothing you can gain from talking to me.
I'm here to help you, Mrs. Mallard. Help you and your husband.
Help us in what way?
Well, I'd rather not discuss that in the hallway of your apartment building.
Very well, come in. The only way you can help us is to clear up this terrible mistake and get Ted out of that jail.
What makes you think it's a mistake?
What makes me... My husband is innocent.
What makes you think so?
I'm going to have to ask you to leave this house.
Well, first, answer my question. What makes you think your husband is innocent? The fact that you love him?
Of course I love him. Has that become a crime?
Your entire attitude toward your husband is based on the fact that you love him. And love happens to be blind.
Please, spare me your dime store philosophy. You don't live with a man for 25 years without getting to know him. Ours was no ordinary marriage, or maybe it was. Maybe all marriages are the same. I wouldn't know. But we were together in everything. We had no secrets. I don't believe we even had separate thoughts. We lived with and for each other. So he couldn't have been doing anything wrong, because I would have known it.
How would you have known it?
Evidently you're not married. Or if you are, it's not what I would call a marriage. I would know. He wouldn't have to say a word or leave a clue. But I would know if he were doing anything wrong. So what do you say to that?
I wish I knew what to say, Mrs. Mallard. I wish I knew how to say what I have to say.
Then please, stop beating around the bush.
You're a fine woman, Mrs. Mallard.
I'm in no mood for flattery, Lieutenant. Say what you have to say and get out.
I'm sorry I'm forced to tell you this, but your husband, whom you love, and with whom you're so close, has been leading a double life.
I don't believe that. It can't be true.
I'm sorry, Mrs. Mallard. We have proof.
There are parts of the world where it never rains. The bright golden sun shines in a deep blue sky, and all is beautiful and cheerful and gay. And after a while, you accept it as something that will last forever. But as the song says, into each life some rain must fall. And when it does, those who have never known what it is to be drenched usually suffer the most. I shall return shortly with Act Two.
To the Mystery Theater on WABC.
For 25 years, Myra and Ted Mallard have had a wonderful marriage. Myra and Ted could communicate without speaking, read each other's thoughts, share each other's feelings. Well, possibly this hasn't been completely so. For here is Myra being confronted with the charge that Ted has been living a complete life away from her. A life that is of interest to the police.
I challenge you to present your proof, Lieutenant.
We've been watching Ted for a long time. He makes regular trips.
He makes regular trips to London on legitimate business.
Of course.
Ted had an opportunity to open a branch office in London. And he goes there to supervise.
And it's an excellent cover.
Cover? His presence is necessary.
According to the annual report of your husband's company, that London operation is losing money.
Ted has faith in it.
But you can excuse our being skeptical.
And what right do you have to arrest a man on skepticism?
None at all. But it goes deeper.
I'm not interested. I can see the nature of your so-called proof.
I want you to help your husband.
Why should you care?
By helping him, you help us. Mrs. Mallard, he won't talk.
What does he have to talk about?
Everything. Who his associates are, where they buy the drugs, where and to whom they sell, who is protecting them.
But...
Please, let me finish. You must convince him to talk. If he remains silent, he'll spend the rest of his life in jail.
But he hasn't done anything.
Please, Mrs. Mallard, we're beyond all that. Now, you must convince him to cooperate. That way he can get a substantial reduction in his sentence.
What sentence?
He'll be tried and he'll be sentenced. We have proof.
You keep saying you have proof. And all you've got is the packet you found in his attaché case, and that could have been planted there.
It could have been, but it wasn't.
Well, I won't be intimidated. If we have to fight, we'll fight. Ted is 47 years old. He has a spotless reputation. He's never done anything wrong. The jury will simply refuse to believe that he could be a member of a dope ring.
Did you ever hear of a woman named Jenny Saunders?
Jenny Saunders? I don't believe so.
I'll do some things that are not exactly in the book. If you promise to say nothing, I'll take you to her apartment.
Well, why would I want to go there?
Because the two of you have something in common.
How does it happen that you have a key to this woman's apartment?
Well, you see, she's cooperating with us. And when I said I might want to bring you here, she felt it best not to be present.
Why?
Out of respect, I suppose, for your feelings. What do you think of the place?
Well, it's nice enough, but why have you... Wait a minute. That's Ted's picture.
Yep, that's Ted's picture.
What's Ted's picture doing here?
You'll find some of Ted's clothing in the closet also.
Oh no.
Oh, no, what?
You won't get away with this. I see what this is for. It's a frame-up to build your case. You're planting his things in this apartment.
You're making serious charges, Mrs. Mallard, and I can understand how you feel, but Ted was here. He spent time here.
I defy you to prove that.
We have witnesses. People have seen him here.
Well, they can. They can all be part of this plot.
Which plot? Mrs. Mallard, why should we want to frame your husband?
I don't know. To make an arrest, to create an impression you're cracking down on drugs?
Why pick on Ted Mallard? Why construct this elaborate framework?
I won't believe it.
That means you refuse to believe it. Mrs. Mallard, let's accept your argument for a moment. The drugs could have been planted in the attaché case.
Then you admit...
For the sake of argument. Okay. Then we could have gone to the trouble of setting up the apartment, the witness, the girl. But you tell me one thing. How do you explain your husband's fingerprints?
What fingerprints?
His fingerprints are all over the place. I know it's very hard for you, Mrs. Mallard. I suppose you have to look at your whole life now from another perspective. And maybe, faced with all this, you won't even want to help him.
Please. Let me out of here.
Myra, where were you? I thought you'd be here earlier. Arthur hasn't been able to do a thing. Now, should we get another lawyer? I can't believe a thing like this could
Ted,
happen.
tell me about Jenny Saunders.
Who?
Jenny Saunders.
Jenny? What about Jenny Saunders?
That's what I'm asking you.
I don't know any Jenny Saunders.
You don't?
No, of course not. Look, darling, we've got 1,000,001 important things to worry about.
You don't know a Jenny Saunders.
Myra, is somebody named Jenny Saunders somehow involved in everything that's happening?
There's an apartment at 291 Fenimore Place.
So, what about it?
I was hoping you'd tell me what about it.
Myra, what's wrong? Don't say nothing, because I can tell when something's bothering you.
I didn't say nothing was wrong. Tell me about 291 Fenimore Place.
I never heard of it.
The police say they found your fingerprints all over it.
Oh, well, I guess they would.
Then you do know about 291 Fenimore.
Thinking, darling. I have been there. Let me see.
Often?
Well, twice to install and then... Oh, let's see, was it 3 times? Anyway, I installed and then went back for some repairs, I guess. And I guess the police were checking every place that I ever visited.
Well, why would you have been to 291 Fenimore?
As a favor to Bert.
Bert?
Yes, he's got a friend.
Jenny Saunders?
I don't... Maybe that's her name. I never saw her. I never saw anyone in the apartment.
Well, why did you go there in the first place?
I'm telling you, darling, Bert asked me to install one of our special stereos for this good friend of his.
You? Don't you have servicemen and technicians to do that kind of thing?
There were some new things, and Bert said that it would be a big favor.
And that's the only reason you ever went to 291 Fenimore Place?
Well, of course. What other reason would I have?
Oh, hello, Mrs. Mallard.
Hello, Harriet. Is Bert Hollis in?
Well, yeah, he sure is, but he's on the phone.
That's all right. I'll wait.
Look, I don't believe it about Mr. Mallard. I mean, well, he's just about the straightest guy there is.
Harriet, tell me something. Does the name Jenny Saunders mean anything to you?
Say it again, Mrs. Mallard.
Jenny Saunders. Does it mean anything?
Yeah.
What?
Well, I don't know. I mean, oh, gosh.
Well, who is it?
Look, does this ever happen to you? You know you've heard something somewhere, but you can't for the life of you remember when or where. Now this name, Jenny Saunders.
Yes?
I did hear it.
Apropos of what?
Apropos of, I can't remember.
Oh, please, Harriet, try to recall.
No. It doesn't do me any good to try.
It's very important.
But, I mean, it's all just sloshing around somewhere in my subconscious, and it'll come to the surface when it wants to.
Well, you will let me know, won't you, if you should happen to remember?
Oh, sure. Oh, Mr. Hollis's light is out now, so he's off the phone. Why don't you just go in?
Thank you. Bert?
Myra, come in. Sit down.
Thank you.
Is there something new? I know Arthur's still waiting for the Court of Appeal.
Bert, who is Jenny Saunders?
Well, I'd never heard of her.
Now, look, I know how long you and Ted have been friends. And, of course, your instinct is to protect him, but Bert... Oh, Bert, I have to know.
What do you have to know?
If my husband has been having an affair with a woman named Jenny Saunders...
Ted? An affair? Oh, no, never. It's impossible.
Bert, I looked in the mirror today, and I see that it could be possible.
Myra, I know Ted,
Please
and I
listen
say
to
never.
me, please. When I think of Ted and me and our marriage, I believe I'm still 20 and he's still 22. But I'm not, and he's not, and I have wrinkles, and a girl named Jenny Saunders is probably quite young.
And you're being quite silly. Ted would never...
Are you familiar with an apartment at 291 Fenimore Place?
291 Fenimore... No. Should I be?
Yes, if you have a friend who lives there.
No, I don't know anyone who...
Well, since you have never heard of the place, and you don't know anyone who lives there, then you couldn't possibly have asked Ted to personally install a special super stereo.
Ask Ted to what?
You heard what I said.
Well, I heard it, but I can't believe it. Why would I ask Ted?
I see.
Myra, please. Why did you ask me such a question? What are you driving at? What's happened?
I'm not sure. When Ted was arrested at the airport the other night, I thought that was the end of the world. Now I see that may have just been the calm before the storm. Yes? You're Jenny Saunders.
Okay. Where do we go from here?
I'm Mara Mallard.
Oh, well, come on in. Sit down.
Thank you.
Drink?
I don't believe so.
Well, what are we going to talk about?
Is it true?
It's true.
I didn't think you'd be his type.
When they start to hit 50, what's a type?
Although you are quite pretty.
If it makes you feel any better, he's still in love with you.
Really? Then what was he doing here?
Well, I guess these fellows need excitement. He's in a jam, I hear.
Yes.
I will say he was fast with $1. He was good to me. The rent here goes for almost $300. And then he liked to go to the track.
I never knew he had the slightest interest in...
Oh, and he liked a game of cards. I told him the stakes were a little high.
I never knew he could even play cards.
Well, I tried to steer him clear of it.
Thank you.
But men, well, they do what they want to do. And so, well, the way I see it, he got in very deep to the loan sharks. And it's all tied into the rackets, you understand? So they said, look, here's how you can pay us back.
And so he became a courier.
You see it happen all the time. Legit business guys get themselves in hock and the mob moves in. What are you looking for?
You wouldn't happen to have a specially installed stereo, would you?
Oh, no. I wish I did.
Oh, thank you, Miss Saunders.
Yeah. I'm glad you're friendly, Mrs. Mallard. A lot of wives, they'd throw a fit. But isn't it better to act civilized?
Myra, what are you saying to me?
What are you saying to me, Ted?
I'm saying that I don't know a girl named Jenny Saunders.
She lives at 291 Fenimore Place. You admit you went there.
As a favor to Bert.
Bert knows nothing about
What
it.
do you mean he knows nothing about it? He asked me
He
to.
didn't.
He specifically asked. Myra, Bert came into my office a couple of months ago and asked me to do him this favor.
But he didn't.
Well, ask him.
I did ask him. He knows nothing about it. And furthermore, I just had a visit with Jenny Saunders.
Myra.
I can see where she might be very exciting.
Myra, listen to me.
No, you listen to me. Call Lieutenant Denson.
What for?
So you can make a deal and be out of here in a few years, or maybe even months.
Would you mind telling me what you're talking
I'm
about?
talking about a man who fell in love with a woman half his age.
Myra.
All right. Let's say he became infatuated. And so he went through all of his money, got into debt, and was offered a way out, an illegal way out, and he was caught.
Myra, do you believe this?
Yes, Ted, I believe it. I don't see how it's possible not to believe it.
How is it possible, indeed, not to believe it? How can one doubt the evidence? Evidence based on the reasonable, logical, and sensible interpretation of the facts that exist. Certainly, a man must be proven guilty beyond the shadow of a doubt. Is there even a shadow here? Everything seems so clear-cut. I'll be back shortly with Act 3.
The Mystery Theater returns on WABC.
Sometimes, if you repeat a story often enough, you'll come to believe it. For instance, for 25 years, Myra Mallard has been telling herself that she has the perfect marriage, a union that was made in heaven, as they say. And perhaps she has been so taken by the idea that she refuses to accept reality. And reality seems to be another woman, and a prison cell, and a narcotics-carrying charge.
You're telling me I've been having an affair with another woman?
I have met her.
And I've been maintaining her?
Yes.
And the drain on my finances has driven me into becoming a member of a narcotics ring?
Ted, these are facts.
Well, I deny every one of them.
But your fingerprints are all over that apartment.
And I told you how they got there.
Oh, Ted.
I also told you something else. I told you this would never be straightened out.
But
that the very fact I've been arrested would scar me for the rest of my life.
Ted,
that there'll always be a nagging doubt in people's minds. Well, what can I expect from strangers when my own wife believes I'm guilty?
Oh, Ted, I don't know what to believe.
I'd know what to believe if you were the one who was sitting in jail. I'd believe what you told me.
I'm trying to, but all the evidence...
I wouldn't care for evidence. I'd know that the person I loved would tell me the truth. I don't think we have the kind of marriage that we thought we did, or at least that I thought I did.
Ted, what do you want me to do?
What do I want you to do if you have to ask?
I'm all mixed up.
We had a paradise, you and I, Mara. But at the first storm, look what happens to it.
Darling...
The other night you said to me this would be a good way to find out who my friends are. Well, it's better than that. It's a good way for me to find out who my wife is.
Well, Mrs. Mallard, have you thought it over?
Yes, Lieutenant Denson, I have.
And have you decided to help your husband?
Yes. I'm going to do everything I can.
Fine. Then I can expect you to cooperate with us.
Oh, I will. That is, if you agree to cooperate with me.
Certainly. What would you like me to do?
Find the man who's really guilty.
Mrs. Mallard, is it possible we are back to ground zero on this thing?
We never left it. Ted is innocent.
In the face of all the evidence, can you really believe that?
Yes, I believe he is innocent. And I believe it because he says so. Ted Mallard cannot lie to me any more than I can lie to him.
Mrs. Mallard, I would like you...
I know what you'd like. You'd like me to look at the facts. But there are all kinds of facts, Lieutenant. You have yours and I have mine.
And what are yours?
Mine is the fact that Ted and I are in love. Yes, for a moment I panicked. I was frightened.
Mrs. Mallard...
It's no good, Lieutenant. I have 25 years supporting me.
I know this is a blow to your pride.
Let me tell you whom you should investigate. My husband's partner, Bert Hollis.
Please, Mrs.
Bert
Mallard...
is lying. He said he didn't ask Ted to install the stereo set at 291 Fenimore.
Mrs. Mallard, you can't shift the blame conveniently.
Why is Bert lying? That's the crux of the entire case.
Bert was not caught with the narcotics. Bert was not maintaining a girl in that apartment.
Please, Lieutenant, don't give me facts. Your facts. For once, try something else.
Something else?
Faith. Believe somebody. Take a person's word. You once said, I was a very fine woman. All right. Would I lie? Isn't it possible that I'm telling the truth? I know you have a case. It's well constructed. But it's wrong.
Mrs. Mallard, we know Ted is guilty.
And I know Bert is lying, and I'm asking you to find out why.
We have no reason to pursue that line of investigation.
Perhaps you don't, but I do. And I'm going to pursue it.
How?
I don't know. What do I know about these kinds of things? But somebody has to help Ted.
Must be wonderful to have a wife who simply won't face the facts.
Oh, you're wrong, Lieutenant. I'm facing all the facts. Why would Bert lie?
I don't know.
think?
I told you, I don't know.
Have you had any differences of opinion about the business?
No.
Is he in debt?
Not that I know of.
Can you think of anything, any reason why he would do this to you?
Bert and I have been friends since college.
All right, the attaché case. How could the cocaine have gotten in there?
That's beyond me.
Oh, Ted, you're not being very helpful.
Well, did I ever think I'd be framed?
It's Bert. It has to be Bert. But why?
I don't know. I'd have been willing to bet my life on Bert. Just as I'd be willing to bet my life on you.
Oh, hi, Mrs. Mallard.
Hello, Harriet.
Anything new with Mr. Mallard?
Well, we're hoping.
Yeah.
I've just come by to get some of Ted's things.
Oh, that's Mr. Hollis's ring. He wants to give me some dictation. Look, if you'll be in Mr. Mallard's office for a few minutes, would you mind answering the phone?
No, not at all.
It's just that when Mr. Hollis dictates, he gets all confused if I have to stop and pick up the phone.
Well, I'll be here for a while.
Oh, thanks.
Yes?
Is Bert there?
No.
Well, he's supposed to be there. He knows I'd be calling.
He just stepped out for a moment.
Tell him Smitty wants him.
Oh, yes.
What do you mean? Oh, yes.
Well, I've heard Bert mention your name. Bert and I are, well, we're very close.
There you are. What about the Saunders dame?
Oh, that's all over.
Look, it's a lot of dough, and it's due. He knows how and where to bring it.
Myra, Harriet said you were here.
Oh, well, I just wanted to get some of Ted's things.
Why? He'll be out of jail soon. I feel it in my bones.
Do you?
I know Ted. He couldn't do anything wrong.
You're a good friend to him.
I don't care what anyone says. I'll stick by him.
Oh, thanks for covering the phone. I heard it ring.
Oh, it was a wrong number.
Oh, well, I hope everything will be okay with Mr. Mallard.
Thank you, Harriet.
If you're through in Mr. Mallard's office, maybe I'd better lock it.
Well, why? Does Mr. Mallard usually keep it locked?
Oh, no. That's his problem. He leaves everything lying around. Anybody could walk into his office and walk off with anything.
Even his attaché case?
Oh, sure. Although, why would anyone want to take his attaché case?
Well, did you ever see anyone carrying his case?
Did I? Well, I never thought to watch.
Try to think.
Hey, now that you mention it, it's funny. Now, when he left for London last week, I saw Mr. Hollis bring him the case. And Mr. Hollis said, "Hey, Ted, you left this in my office."
Uh-huh. That's what Mr. Hollis said.
Mm-hmm.
What did Mr. Mallard answer?
I think he said, thanks, Bert.
And that was all?
Yeah. Oh, okay. Do you remember you asked me, did I know a Jenny Saunders?
Yes.
Well, that's where I heard her name. As they were saying goodbye, Mr. Hollis said, let me see, did you get everything squared away for my friend, Jenny Saunders? And Mr. Mallard answered, the stereo works just fine. There you are. You really forget nothing if you know how to make it come back.
Hello, Bert. I'm on time. You got it?
Yeah.
Hand it over. I know 50 grand here.
I know.
Look, the agreement was 10 payments, 50 grand each.
50 is too big a sum to hide.
Agreement, pal.
I can fix the books for 25 maybe each month, but not for 50.
Who cares about the books? That's why we got Mallard out of the way. So you could have an open road.
His wife was there today.
Why?
I don't know why. Maybe she suspects something.
Why should she suspect
I
anything?
don't know. I said maybe.
Look, you're the one who said all you needed was to get Mallard out of here, and the till would be wide open.
Okay, but you have to be cautious.
Cautious? The way you drop money on the ponies, the cards, the dames?
Look, it'll just take a little bit longer, but I'll pay you fellas back.
What's that?
I don't know.
Nobody's supposed to be here.
Well, maybe it's Jenny.
How could it be Jenny? I heard you two are quits.
Quits? Where did you hear that?
Your secretary told me.
She doesn't know anything about Jenny.
Wait a minute.
Hey, What are you going to do with that gun?
Somebody's in that closet. What are you trying to do, Bert? Set me up?
No, I don't.
All right, whoever you are, come on out of there.
Myra.
You notice, Dame?
It's Ted's wife.
Hello, Bert. Who's your friend?
Myra, I couldn't help myself.
So you did frame Ted after all.
Please, Myra, you don't understand. It was Jenny. Jenny Saunders. I couldn't keep away from her.
All right, we can't hang around here.
What are you going to do with her?
I don't know. But something will occur to me. Move, sister.
Why?
What are you going to do to her?
She has to disappear.
You let her alone. Murder was no part of the deal.
Look, Bud, people do what they have to do.
I said no. Please, Myra. Myra, if you promise not to...
What can she promise?
Myra, promise you...
Oh, poor Bert. This character makes you betray your friend, loot your company. And now he'll kill you.
Shut up, lady.
Well, how else can it end?
I think we'd better go for a little ride.
No, I won't let you do it.
Let go my arm,
no,
you nut.
Put away.
I said let go my arm.
You okay, Mr. Hollis?
Me? Yes. Yes, I am.
Lieutenant.
Hey, Joe, get an ambulance. You may be able to save this other one's life.
Lieutenant,
What am I doing here?
Yeah.
Well, you can say whatever you like about science and facts and clues and evidence, but sometimes a good hunch has them all beat.
You heard what they said?
Yep, everything. I followed you because if you did happen to be right, you'd need help.
I didn't mean to. I just kept getting in deeper and deeper.
Thank you, Lieutenant.
No, thank you for showing me what it can be like.
What can be like?
Marriage. I may even try it myself.
And he did. Or so we are told. Well, what is the moral here? You may be sure that faith can overcome any difficulty. And as the Persian poet said, the sweet breath of love can blow away the mightiest mountains. So, you have faith, for I shall return in just a few moments. Love, like wine, they say, grows mellower, finer, tastier as time goes on. Just as youth is wasted on the young, so is love. The heart has its reasons, and the more we attempt to probe and pry and weigh and analyze, the more we come to naught. Love is one of the two supreme passions. The other, of course, is murder, which is why we always try to give you liberal amounts of each, 7 times each week. Our cast included Joan Lovejoy, Mandel Kramer, Bryna Rayburn, Ken Harvey, and Sam Gray. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater.
Well, I hope that you guys have enjoyed that story. That was quite an interesting one. Nice little twist there at the end. And, yeah, pretty good. Pretty good. Guys, I am getting a bit tired. It is 5:30 in the morning here in the graveyard shift. I think I've got this painting pretty much completed. I might put a couple of little finishing touches on it yet, but I think as it stands, it's pretty good. You'd have to tell me. But I like her. I think she's pretty cool. I like doing these kind of creepy arts sometimes myself. But I think with that, we're going to rate ourselves out. Pass on the joy to someone else. And I think what we're going to do, I know that we rated her yesterday, but I do enjoy being able to give her a raid. And I think that you're going to find her very pleasant, very enjoyable, the sweetest of hearts, and an absolute fun community that she has built up. Her name is Morning Darkness. She's known as Morning Darkness. Her name is Dawn. And I think that you guys will enjoy spending time with her as well. So, thank you for being here on the Graveyard Shift with your host, Ira, as we do a little bit of art, a little bit of story time, and a little bit of togetherness. Please keep safe out there. Please have fun. And take care of each other. Much love to all of you. And good night.
Incoming customer detected.
Keep your eyes open, boys.
We need to have a serious talk.